Broadcasting live from the World Wide Web, this is the Retro Handhelds podcast, featuring your host Stubbs, Aish, Rios, Ban, and our special guest, Black-Seraph. So sit back, relax, crack open a cold garlic clove, and let's get this aging gamer party started.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. We're here for a special episode today with our buddy Black-Seraph, developer of GarlicOS, LineageOS, Clean ROM, Duo, Caster, just the list goes on. Rob is on vacation tonight, by the way, so he's somewhere in the world. We hope he's all right, and we miss him. But we got Aish filling in for co-host, and we got Ban filling in. And Ban, if you do a good job tonight, buddy, you know I got that can of beans for you right here.
Oh, yeah.
Right up through the ceiling.
Please. More beans.
So,
and you got black beans this time. Those are healthier.
Got those good black beans. Let me tell you, I was in Mexico all week, guys, and I was sick as a dog the first half. But thank God for the Mexican antibiotics. I am feeling much better now. But they had the best black beans, like the refried style, but black beans. And they were so very tasty. Aish, I want to come live in your country for the rest of forever, really. I think my wife and I are going to go back very soon.
Hey, you're more than welcome to come over.
I can stay with you then, or are we doing this, or?
Yeah, I mean, we can find a basement.
Okay, fair.
There's no attics here, but we can find a basement.
Okay, yeah, can Ban come along, or is he kind of?
I guess. Yeah, yeah, Ben can come. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, all right.
You'll have to stay outside, though.
Oh.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. Well, I shared this in our social media earlier, but people were asking me, what handhelds am I going to bring on this trip? And I was like, I don't know. I couldn't decide. I finally landed on the Pocket Air as my main daily driver. I really love this thing. Video coming soon. I love it a lot more than I thought it would. And 35XX, although sorry, Seraph, I didn't play a lot of this. And lastly, just the SWOLED, Switch OLED. Gothic is out on there now, and it fits Stubbs Nubbs, of course. So, by the way, we're going to talk about that because these are on sale now officially. That's right. Guys, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing
I'm
good.
pretty good.
Just got back from a trip
good.
myself.
Where do you go?
I went to a conference.
A conference?
Yeah.
About what?
Education. Because that's what I do.
Go on.
Music education.
Okay, music education. I was like, what could be a range of topics? It could be like a cult, or it could be anywhere in between.
Music is a cult.
I mean, there's a band called The Cult, right?
I think so.
I'd be surprised if there isn't.
Yeah, there has to be. And Mr. Seraph, sir, welcome back to the show. Last time we had you on, I think it was maybe 2 years ago. And we were talking about, I think so. I think he was Yumi and Thor. And we were yammering on about, I don't know, it was before Garlic times. It was like, you were still doing Clean ROM at the time, I think.
Really?
Or GPD-XD plus stuff. Yeah,
you were talking about the 552 on that one.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I remember that
right.
episode, yeah.
The 552 ROM. That was nice.
I actually can't wait to make a full circle.
Yeah.
Are you going to come back to that one with Garlic?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
That's the end game.
Oh, yes. Yes,
So,
Nara's...
That means I have to get another one?
I think so. Nara's asking for a face reveal. Seraph, are you doing a face reveal? This is your face reveal. That's your face right there.
It actually is pretty close to the real life thing, but no,
See?
not being a face reveal.
Oh. Also, Russ, everybody. Retro Game Core, 400,000 subscribers. Congrats. That is a ridiculous number of followers on the YouTube channel.
Congrats, Russ.
Yeah.
Congrats, Russ.
Yeah,
I'm really happy he didn't go Hollywood. He still hangs out with the little guys.
He's still cool. Like, he still talks to us,
Yeah.
Like, he's like,
Yeah.
hey. And I'm like, oh my God, he is talking to us.
Yeah.
Still.
Just not in public, though. But
Not
I
in
don't
public.
blame him.
No,
I don't blame him.
But
at
he has
all.
to
Yeah.
keep up appearances, so
Yeah, of course.
it is what it is. But thank you. Yes, I got my hairs trimmed today before the podcast. I said I'm back from vacation. I must look fresh. for you guys today. Anyways,
You always look great.
Oh, thanks. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff tonight, including garlic, including I'm going to do some live impressions of this bad boy. That's right, the PlayStation thing, the Portal,
the thing,
the accessory.
That will be fun.
No.
Got my analog pocket transparent in because Joey of Joey's Retro Handheld says that that this right here is different than the original one I used to have, so I had to get it to prove him wrong. And so far, he's wrong. But that's okay. You know, we can't all be we can't all be right. And I have the RGB 30 in yellow now with Stubbs Nubbs as well, which are a little bit too big for this, but they work. Just need a little modification. But let's get into the news. Oh, how do those feel? What do you got there, Aish? You got the yellow.
Oh, these actually, yeah, they
spikies?
fit perfectly.
Oh, touch them for a second. Yes. Oh, wow. Tell me, how are your feelings inside as you touch them?
Every time I hold it, I just feel like a rush of tranquility and better digestion. It's definitely stimulating the pancreas.
Yeah. Well, how would you say your
zen.
pancreas was before you used the nubs?
I'd say it was about 92%. This is definitely 92.5.
Yeah, so it's a marked improvement. I'm not a doctor.
It's a marked, yes.
This is not professional advice. Do not buy my Stubbs Nubbs if you have pancreas issues. Please call your doctor.
I can press L3R3 and there's no blood. I mean, there's some definite marks there, but there's no blood.
And I'm still waiting for a hemophiliac to bleed out from my nubs. So far, no blood from anybody in the entire planet from the about 20 people who have these so far.
I mean, if we try hard enough.
Well, Mr. Team Retrog, Mikhailov Team Retrog has a review. He has an in-depth review coming on Wednesday, and I am looking forward to that. Seraph, tell me, do you think Stubbs Nubbs could help garlic become even better?
Oh boy.
If you don't know what these are my acupressure joystick caps that I've been talking about lately. They're spiky, and they feel great. So
I think I'm the wrong target audience for this, because
Well,
I am
I'll send you a
big
set.
into
We'll
those
talk.
sunken-in analogs from the Steam Deck. I got a little spoiled that way.
we're making them Steam Deck sized, so you're gonna love my nubs. Just you wait. So let's move into the news before we get out of hand here, guys. I go away for 1 week, and the freaking Valve is like, "This is the week we're gonna release the new thing." They're making they made the Steam Deck, but with OLED. Everyone knows this already, of course, but in case you don't, 90 hertz screen, bigger battery, way more awesome. Everyone has a review out. I have one on the way, but there I am waking up out of my strep throat's days of infection. Thanks, Aish, for recommending the doctor to me. He came to my room and gave me a shot in my butt, mind you, in front of the maid.
The gluteus.
In front of security at the resort, in front of everybody. No one tells me, and you didn't tell me that they'd be. I thought I had my arm up, put the shot there, give me the steroids, make me feel better. I want to go out with my family. And he said, "No."
Uncover thy cheeks.
And the pressure you feel as the medicine goes inside, it was quite something.
About to crack.
Yeah, and I pushed down on the Stubbs Nubbs as I was doing it because I had the Pocket Air out, and let me tell you, it helps with everything. Anyways, the Steam Deck OLED comes in at $549. Ridiculous pricing. I was out of my mind. I couldn't figure out which one to get, and so I got both. I got the 512 and I got the LE because I need to find out, with this anti-glare screen, do we really need this? This 512 glossy screen seems like the better choice for most people because you get pure OLED goodness, but it has the smaller hard drive, so it's like this torturous decision valve. So of course I did get both, and I'm going to compare them real quick. But this is exciting. Who all's getting this? Is everyone excited for this?
Definitely bored.
I'm super excited for it.
I'm excited to see just what more it does to the market, honestly.
James.
James. Oh God. No, it's again, Valve just came back to kind of shake things up. Like everybody was seemingly passing them, like nobody was really talking about get a Steam Deck. Everybody was like Legion Go or Allll or one of these higher end handhelds. And here they come back. They didn't give us any more power, but it's more efficient. It runs better. It's a better screen, and you have the full support of Valve. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's really gonna play into the hands of all the battery aficionados, because all the other handhelds out there are all about power and drive that DDB up. And this one actually focuses on portability, which sounds so weird because it's one of the biggest handhelds we have on the market, but it's the only one I would carry around, even if the case is huge, that I would use mobile. The other ones, you always have to haul a power bank around or some other power source, or you're glued to a wall. This is the only one I would actually use.
I was actually looking at the... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying I still don't know which is better. So I don't know. But anyways, continue. I'm not here.
I was going to say, I was kind of looking at battery life comparisons between the Odin 2 and the Steam Deck. And when you're talking about higher end emulation like Switch, it looks like this the Deck OLED actually does better with battery life than the Odin 2, which is really, really awesome. I was not ever expecting to see a handheld PC actually compare with something with an ARM processor for actual battery life.
I think the Legion Go actually is pretty decent battery life wise so far, but I haven't had the OLED, the SD OLED, this DOLED as we've been calling it. So I might have to return this to Best Buy once the Steam Deck gets here. But so far, I love the Go's battery life. Just saying.
Isn't that a 50 or 60 watt hour?
I don't know. It's a bunch. It's good.
I know it's got a bigger battery, but I think the new size of the Steam Deck battery actually matches it or is pretty close to it.
It's so comfortable though. Like, look at this, Aish. You need to try this once, man. You gotta just.
I want to.
Look at this. Look at this grip. Look how comfortable look how much space you got.
That's a meaty grip.
Look at that meaty grip. 1X Player 2 Pro was not a fan of. No, too heavy, weirdly balanced. This pretty lightweight actually. Pretty good balance. Like it more than I thought. However, it's still Windows, so it has a freaking login screen, which is annoying. And it's still cumbersome. It has funky, janky software, but that doesn't matter. The screen's big and beautiful, and the things come off, and there's slight magnetism, so I always like that. And the FPS mode is pretty stupid, to be honest. I couldn't get into that, but as a handheld, all right.
That's Age of Empires, man. That's what that FPS mode is for.
Yeah.
It's just a mouse. So if you're one of those people that really wants to play like first-person shooters and you want the precision of a mouse, that's a decent way to do it, I guess. I don't really see myself ever trying that, but the fact that they actually added it is kind of nice.
I don't know. I'm in the camp that if I want to use a mouse, I plug in a mouse. And if I have to be stationary on a desk already, because you need it for the little attachment, I might as well plug in a mouse. I don't know.
I wonder. Wait a minute. Nah, nubs aren't gonna fit. Damn it. So close. So close. But the coolest thing.
Curious about it though.
The coolest thing about the Go, and I know we're talking about Steam Deck, but the coolest thing about the Go and Valve take a note out of this book. I was like, I love this case. It holds the Go. What if they had a little hole that the power could go through, or like a little glorious hole you could put the power through to charge the handheld? And then 2 seconds later, I found such a hole on the case. In the case, look at that dust-free handheld that you can charge. How beautiful is that? It's a little. They put a little metal there. Valve, on your next Steam Deck 2, please put a glorious hole here so we can charge our electronics like that.
Oh, don't worry, they will. It's just gonna be part of the next limited edition run, just like the takeout inside case.
I want jungle green if they're doing another limited edition. Give me like a jungle green, something just ridiculous, like Analog Pocket style.
I'll buy a deck if it comes in jungle green.
Joey, this Analog Pocket is not any better than the first one, okay, that I had. It's the same thing. Battery life's okay. It's not very comfortable. Why do they keep releasing limited edition ones when they don't have the main ones in stock is the complaint. We actually took that off the show list tonight because it's so ridiculous. I'm sorry I'm talking about it. Okay. The 1 terabyte OLED tops out at $179, and if you want to get the limited edition, it's $30 more, and they are still available, only 1 to 2 weeks lead time. So how limited are they? I don't know. They'll keep making them until this run is up. They only made a certain amount. I don't know what that amount is.
Well, I never really thought about it. I'm a second-class citizen living in Europe, so I can't really order it anyway.
Oh,
Second class? Aren't you a
Well,
prince?
most of the stuff that's cool I can't really order. Either because the import laws are too strict, or they simply don't.
Dude, why don't you
here.
start your own country? Like Garlic Land. You know, I will move there. Let's do it in Mexico, actually, because it's really nice weather right now.
You want to be the first ones to do it.
Yeah, we can have our own import laws, like our own tariffs, you know.
I'm sure
Yeah,
the
but
local
depends on
government wouldn't have a
countries with
problem with
locals.
that.
yeah, just ship it in for free.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I don't see this going south in any way.
Yeah, no, it's not like we're starting a cult compound. It's going to be an island.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Even
fine.
better.
It's gonna be a police state.
Yeah, police state. Yeah, but like nice police, you know.
Nice
like they
police
can't they hand
Because
you a
there's so
donut.
many of them.
They hand you a donut instead of taking your donuts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's nice.
I like where this is going.
that's how it works.
This is really good.
Yeah.
Good conversation, I think. So
Yeah.
anyways,
We're drifting a
um,
little, I think.
Steam Deck, awesome battery life. This is a midway refresh. It's not a full Steam Deck 2, but I don't care. I already think it's probably going to be just general handheld of the year. I am guessing x86 handheld of the year. Obviously, Allll is going to have to really drop that price. And guess what? We'll get into Black Friday deals because they did. They have an open box one at my local Best Buy for $360 for the regular Z1 version. So
Funny enough, this actually applies to Europe too this time around.
really,
in
you
Europe-
guys have that?
in Europe,
Black
they're
Friday
being
deal?
sold on Amazon directly, and
What?
they actually have €150 off, which kind of
What?
is in line with what we see in the US. So
Yeah, we have it for I think 400 or so. New at Best Buy right now, 450.
yeah, but that's pre-tax, and all the
Ah.
prices in Europe are post-tax. So
Yeah.
Most of the world does that. I don't know why the States refuses to just include tax in the prices. It's annoying.
Maybe they'll do it one day.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just a weird thing that you see a price, but that's not what you're actually going to pay. You got to add percentages to that, so you got to do math. Whereas everywhere else in the world, it's like price on the tech. That's how much you're going to pay.
yeah, but in average, everything in Europe is still about 10% more expensive because the sales tax
Yeah.
is so high.
That's true. But wasn't Valve trying to actually push the Steam Deck into more countries? So hopefully you'll have that option soon.
Well, the Steam Deck is available where I live. It's just the limited edition one that isn't.
Oh, okay. Would you be able to get it through Valve, or do you have to go through a reseller?
I can get it through Valve, just not the limited edition one. That smoky black one.
Okay.
Speaking
sure
of
we're gonna
smoke,
see shows.
speaking of smoky black, what about smoky blue? Hey, 35XX Plus coming to you. That's right. The new 35XX from Anbernic is here, and we're about to have review units, I hear, hit many YouTube channels because this thing is coming out on the 25th. So we're like, what, 5 days away?
It's on like 4
Not only
a.m.
that, 4 a.m. drop, classic. Awesome that they added Wi-Fi, they added Bluetooth, they did back shoulder buttons like the better buttons, which is freaking cool. It plays up to Dreamcast, PSP, supposedly double the power in a similar ATM style chip, maybe. And guess who has one? The guy in the podcast right here, Black-Seraph. He can't talk about it though. Don't ask him questions about it. He
I'm so
won't tell
sorry.
you.
I wish I could say more.
But he can tell you that it is launching with Garlic, right? It'll be Garlic 2. Some version will be ready at launch for this.
Yes, the alpha will be available from day one, pretty much.
Is it
due to
shipping?
being alpha?
Shipping with?
No, it's not shipping
Okay.
with it. But you will be able to pick it up on GitHub in the usual spots, and there will be a new bootloader repository up just in time. So people can literally drop it on there in a dual boot fashion so they can run it side by side with the stock OS.
Just like the first one.
Mm-hmm. Also, for the people that paid attention, if you look on the release post image for GarlicOS 2, the device in the background actually is a RG35XX Plus.
What?
Yes.
I did not notice that. Is that...
Oh.
Because from the front, it looks exactly the same, right? I mean, there's no...
Well, you would have to pay close attention. A look at the center button.
Would you?
It shifted slightly up. It shifted slightly up, yeah.
Okay. All right. So dimensions are a little bit different. Can you tell us how many milliamp hours the battery is?
I would have to measure it out. The battery is not labeled. So,
so close.
It definitely weighs more. So I imagine it's gonna contain more amperage, but we will see. I never measured it out.
Well, that's fair.
Pretty exciting.
And we have some, I didn't know this, but apparently there is a few different colors for this. We don't know if the blue's happening for sure, but one of the ones you were sent supposedly is purple?
Yes, and the smoky white was sent to me
Smoky
as well.
white?
I do not know if those will be release colors though, because they were pre-release units provided so that I could get GarlicOS going early, so... I did get that much support out of Anbernic, where they actually were willing to send a few pre-release units over so I can take a look.
Now, I thought that Anbernic didn't support community devs. I thought that they weren't helpful at all. Turns out they might be.
I see what you did there.
Hey, now, all I'm saying is credit where credit's due. Anbernic has been good. Supporting as far as these devices go, as far as getting Black-Seraph unit to work on. And we actually have a promo video here that they released this morning at like 4 in the morning.
Yep.
So let's take a look-see.
I actually really like the white, just the plain white
too.
model.
Well, that'll be great for painting, for people like doing those paint dye jobs.
Yeah. The rest in peace, the transparent white. That one was great for the colors.
Sorry, really Sarah, for asking you questions.
I really hope that they will bring the atomic purple back for the actual release units. I love it on the pre-release one. But I don't know. Especially because they introduced new colorways. So I'm not entirely sure which ones will actually make it back.
I mean,
I'm kind of wondering why there's more power in it, though, because chat's been saying it, but it does kind of make sense. Like, there is more power, but we don't really have an analog stick to really take advantage of it, unless it's more efficient, which I know you can't say anything yet, but if that's the case, that's pretty cool. So if we get a more efficient chip with a bigger battery, that's awesome.
Well, the bigger battery was actually something I nudged them into, because I was like, the 35XX is my golden goose device, like my Goldilocks thing that always lives in my backpack. And this is also something I want to support with GarlicOS 2 extensively, because I really love that thing. And I was like, you know what would be great? You know, that little divot in the back, if you could fill that up with extra battery. Because this is my daily Game Boy. That's the thing I carry around. It's synonymous with a Game Boy for me.
Me too.
And I was like, make the battery as big as you can, because this is the device I will carry around everywhere.
No, it's a really, really good device for that. Every time I grab mine, because since we go through so many handhelds, I have to spend a bunch of time with other handhelds that every time I get to go back to it, it's kind of like re-experiencing at how good it feels, the build quality of it, and just how good Garlic in general feels. So I'm really happy they're doing more with it, and that we're getting Wi-Fi, bigger battery, and all that other stuff.
The one thing I can tell you is that the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip is actually decent. It is the same one that was in use for my RG552 Bluetooth and Wi-Fi 5 mod. It supports Bluetooth and Wi-Fi asynchronous, so you can have it side by side. It shares the same antenna. It's a good chip. I know that the latency on it is perfect for streaming, which is probably why they made a big point out of it being Moonlight compatible.
Can you say if it has a 4-inch screen or not?
The screen is the same size as the previous model.
Got it.
Wait, the 35XS does video out, right?
Yes, it does.
Oh, so the more powerful chip makes sense now. So you don't have the analog stick, but you can still plug that in and turn it into a little home console and play like N64 or Dreamcast games with a Bluetooth controller.
Well, obviously, because it now has Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So you can actually pair something up wirelessly, and it can be your streaming setup.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that
awesome.
so much.
That's
so
great.
much. 35XX, definitely my device of the last couple years where I've been using this more than any other device, just hours wise. If I want to play a retro game and I want to beat one, it's always done on this device, which is funny because I'm such a big retro achievements nut. But yet this is the one that's easiest to pick up because of the software and because of the ergonomics that I'm just, boom, I'm playing. So you're telling me
I
that
love
we're
the
going to get...
Mini, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
super tiny,
same reason.
but
Same reason.
the reason why I always shelf it, which I know people will beat me for it, but the reason I always shelf it is because the shoulder buttons just feel better on the 35XX.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm
The Mini-
trying to still understand the Miu Mini Plus.
Yeah.
I like it, I appreciate it, but I just can't get around the ergonomics of it.
Yeah. It's a good handheld, but it's not good ergonomically.
Yeah.
That's why I have two 35XXs and no Mini Pluses anymore.
I
all
think
you need.
35XX is what did me in. I have a drawer full of them. A whole drawer full of them with all the PCB revisions.
Ooh.
And every time I work on it, I have to go through all of them to make sure that they still work on every
It's,
revision that's out.
The Plus... The Plus is out on November 25th, right? Is that what it said in the description there in the video? Like
Yep.
early in the morning.
6 p.m. Beijing time, which is 4 a.m. PDT.
Okay, all right, that's fair. So that's this Saturday, everybody. You can buy this thing this Saturday, and if the pricing is done right, and I'm talking bring this in under $80, I think that Anbernic probably has another hit on their hands, just because so many people out there adore the 35XX. I think it's going to be one of those rush days in pre-orders, and you know that they're going to have that first 48 hours to get it for a little bit cheaper. So stay tuned. We should have a video out in a few days, I'm hoping, but we might not get it out in time for the release. We're not sure. This came up on us really fast. Same thing with the Arc. It's like, wait, what? Boom, it's out. They're doing these sneaky releases lately.
Sadly, I know nothing about the pricing for this one, but if they can keep that price, it's worth it already simply because of the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi chip. Because that thing will give you great streaming performance.
I mean, obviously,
I know
I'm
it's
hoping
still Wi-Fi 5, but it will do good.
Sure. I'm hoping it's $50. I'm hoping it's $50 for the first 48, and then it goes up to 60.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that they're not going to be able to help themselves, and we're going to see it around $70 plus $10 shipping. But if they could bring it in from 50 to 60 bucks, oh man, that is golden goose pricing.
$59.99 would be great.
Yeah.
Once you start getting to like $80 mark, you kind of start thinking about it, because if it's, let's say it's $79.99, then you still have to pay shipping. That's already almost $100. You're getting really close to some other handhelds that have a little bit more to offer. So it's kind of hard with something that has no analog sticks, as good as it is. It's not really in that impulse territory.
Yeah, so Chigaiber on the shoulders, and Sarah, if you have one, how do the shoulders feel to you? Can you even...
The shoulders are a lot better than the 35XX were, and the 35XX was already great for that, especially when you compare it to the other offerings in the same price bracket and the target audience, which was essentially the Miu Mini and Miu Mini Plus. If you look at the aftermarket buttons, like you're showing off right now, right?
Yeah.
They are obviously less tall than that, but they have a better actuation point. So it feels more satisfying, if I had to explain it, to click them.
Just having the slope, is so important, I think, for vertical devices these days.
That's the biggest change, to be honest. It's no longer flat. It's got a slope.
Well, it's like the 405V, isn't it? It's kind of like that.
No, not really, because the 405V, which I also have here, is... How do I put this? It has a lot of accidental presses. Just by the way you're holding it, And
Yeah,
the
okay, so we're better than
35XX,
this.
because you're holding it differently, it actually doesn't give you accidental presses, so it feels better in that regard as well.
Good. Okay, that's really good to
Over
know
here.
because the shoulder buttons on these verticals are so important, and I feel like it's always the last thing that these companies think about. You know, it's like an afterthought. Miu with their first release, you know, the original Miu Mini, those shoulder buttons were just pretty terrible. You know, they're there.
They were good enough for shortcuts. That's what it was
They're-
for.
Yeah, they're for shortcuts, but you're not going to enjoy PS1 games that make heavy use of the
No.
shoulders.
Oh. But to be honest, even with the 35XX, the most use I get out of the shoulder buttons is my quick save, quick load, fast forward, you know, change the save slot maybe, you know. That's pretty much what I use most of those shoulder buttons for, because those handhelds, in my opinion, are made for older games.
And what do you think
Where
about
the shoulder buttons
RGB30?
aren't as important.
This style, you know, you can do these inline that sometimes work
No.
out okay.
Personally,
like
I'm
them.
actually a fan of the stack design. But for some handhelds, it just works that way, inline, where it doesn't feel awkward. But I can't really tell you what is required to make it not feel awkward. For some devices, it just feels right.
Yeah, I know. It's just sometimes it's different on every device. You know, it's just it doesn't have to be a certain way. It just doesn't work for that device. I've noticed that recently.
James is teasing something in the comments. He's saying, if I told you the RGB30 could be better, would you believe me?
Mr. Teasing, Mr. Teaser Man, saying teases
Mr.
again.
Powkiddy over here.
Mr. Powkiddy over here. So he's saying that something's coming on the RGB30. In what way, sir, would you say the RGB30 might be better?
I need to know.
We've seen some custom metal shells. It'd be cool if we saw something like that coming like straight from Powkiddy.
Nara agreed. Yeah, 351V had great shoulders.
These are still my favorite ones in any vertical handheld.
Well, you can't tease in the comments and expect me to not ask you what are you talking about.
Damn it,
Yeah,
James.
did they do like a Logitech G Cloud style RGB30, like just a wide, just a big one? Well,
I'd like a taller one.
Regardless of the excellent RGB30, mind you, we're here to talk about the 35XX Plus and the Plus. If they did do bigger battery, we have Wi-Fi, we have Bluetooth, we have 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi in there. Bluetooth, what, 5.2, 5.3? We're going to have a retro stew going on this thing. I think this is going to be most of next year for me, my go-to device. I just for taking around.
More than likely, it'll be mine too.
I'm frothing.
And that smoky gray one looks so good. I'm looking at the changes, and yeah, they did bring up the menu buttons a little higher. The start and select buttons are at a different angle. Like some minor changes, but I like them. I think the D-pad's a little bit higher up too.
Paul, you
Funny
can't ask
enough,
too many
nobody
questions.
knows it on the teaser image.
Huh?
No, we were just too hyped that you got garlic out.
Yeah, nobody noticed it on the garlic teaser image that the button was further up.
Oh, will this have Android?
Technically, it could, because there are user space binaries for the graphic card that actually work on Android for this thing.
So what is the upper limit? Is Dreamcast truly the upper limit, or can it do something crazy? You know, like if it has Android, could it do something crazy like a little bit of GameCube or?
That's a good question. I have not
PS2?
benchmarked the SoC. Not enough that I can
So-
tell you.
If it's
Well,
close to what the 3566, like I was able to squeeze out a little bit of GameCube from that, so I don't know, it'd be pretty cool.
Well, if it has the same ATM chip that we see in these smart fridges, which I hope it doesn't. I hope it's something better. You know, I mean, smart fridges can run Doom, so
That's all you need.
we're in a good spot for this, right? I'm sorry, I'm messing with your psychology, Seraph, trying to extract information right now. I need to stop. I'm sorry.
We're gonna get him sued.
I'm asking leading questions. I fully admit it because I'm too excited. I need to recuse myself. Let's talk about something else. Hey, the 28XX is on the way, by the way. I don't know, Ban, if you have that one lying around.
Oh,
So
I think I have that one.
this is another one. I think could be running the same or similar chip because it has the XX in the name. We saw the patent from Anbernic, and this patent drawing. So this looks like what the Miu P60, right, or the horizontal Miu. It's kind of that style.
A30, I think it is. Miu A30.
Oh, look at the A, B, X, Y buttons. I didn't notice that.
Black-Seraph backwards spells Jesus Christ. Yes, that's correct.
Accurate.
Garlic 3.0 for smart fridge. This thing, who does anyone know anything about this? Do we know anything about this?
I don't.
I mean,
Fair.
just kind of going
There's
off
my
of
leading questions again.
I mean, just kind of going off the name, you might assume it's similar to the 35XX if it is a 28XX.
Big battery, Wi-Fi.
Oh, I can hope.
I think the XX
$55.
part. I think the XX part is just because they're using a chip that it's not like their traditional line. So it could really be anything. It's not necessarily going to be like the same chip as the 35XX. It's like if you look at the 353 line, the 351 line, all of those had the same chip, so they go with that. The 35XS used something different, so it was 3.5 inch screen, XX, whatever chip it is.
I know, James. I'm a bad boy. I know.
So this is probably going to be a 2.8 inch screen with whatever chip, and I don't know. I'm not really too excited about this one. If it was a 3x2 screen, like a new version of the 351p, that would be really cool. But a little 4x3, candy bar handheld. I feel like we have a bunch of those.
I need to ask, do you guys think 2.8 inches is even big enough now, or do you think it just might be?
I'd say that's about average span. I mean,
I want one joystick on this though. If I had to add one thing, give me one joystick.
You know what did have one joystick?
The Miu P60 that was canceled officially now.
I'm glad they did.
I cry.
Yeah, the 280M had it. I don't know about the one joystick on this. I don't think I want to play anything with a joystick on something that small.
Yeah, and we need bigger. I mean, Nara makes a good point there. 3.5 even is feeling small.
Yeah,
people are wanting that more mid-size.
3.5
depends who you ask.
Are the sweet spot.
Do I want it?
At least
I
for
want
my
a
retro
280.
stuff.
I want a 280M. I mean, this is a 280M, but 280 XX plastic, no joystick, budget price.
Yeah.
Inline shoulders, it looks like, maybe.
I mean, I remember a bunch of people used to be asking for something like this, and now we have it, but it's just too late.
It's too late. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see, though. We'll see. This is probably one we'll see springtime next year, I'm sure.
Yeah. I have a hard time going back to
35XX was a surprise.
That's
true. That's true.
Completely a
It is
surprise.
that time of year.
And from what I heard, they just sort of, it's one of those ideas they threw at the wall. It's like, maybe people want this. I remember them talking about that early on. Like, well, maybe this is something we might want to do. I don't know. We'll try it out. And it was just this crazy success, but due in big part to the community-made, developer-made software that came to it. That was such a big part of its success. Having Seraph, you brought that Christmas present last year, and I remember that. And Aish made a video on that. I was like, dude, this is so good. This is so good. This is so simple.
Yep.
I just hope that GarlicOS 2 can live up to the hype that was built around the 1.x versions, because in your head, it's always better than the final product that you receive.
Yep.
Final product can never live up to fantasy.
Yep. You have that sophomore slump that musicians get into. Or like, my second album, needs to top my first. No, I think just follow your heart on it. And I mean, it's an alpha, right? So the features are coming still. This is already farther than your original 1.0 alpha was at this point. So I don't know. I'm pretty stoked for it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just my own advice from me to you.
I did a guide on it, and even though it's an early alpha, for what's there, I could see myself just using that. I'm not really somebody that uses a whole lot of Wi-Fi or like retro achievements, so maybe I'm not the best person to talk with the general user. But I think what was there, I liked. I even said in the video, like if you're somebody that's excited for it and you like to tinker, definitely load it up and use it as is, because the performance is fine for those lower end systems. I don't really need more than what it's doing right now.
Well, the thing is, this time around we're actually, raising the ceiling a little bit with hardware acceleration and hopefully PlayStation Portable and Dreamcast, especially given the fact that we are now running across multiple platforms and including some higher performance targets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. You put a picture in our chat here, Seraph. Oh, you did sneak in the plus in your Garlic 2.0 image. Sneaky.
There is also a 35XX original bootloader, but it's not ready yet. Funny enough, it could very much be that Acme Plus, another developer in the Retro Handhelds Discord, might be beating me to it, because he's been working on a separate bootloader as well.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I want to see.
I'm just excited all this work is getting done.
Me too.
And it's better games for us.
And in the meantime, more rumors for you guys. Nintendo is making another clamshell, apparently. The 4DS, possibly. Now, this is something that we've seen crop up. I know Nara, we saw talk about on Dodo's website, showing this off. But we don't know much about it other than this patent drawing, right? So it's a potential new 3DS sequel. It's not the Switch 2. It's something else.
Yeah.
From the renders, not renders, from like what would you even call that? From the drawing, it kind of looks like the screen is actually removable and it not like an actual clamshell, like a hinge.
Yeah. The patent diagrams just kind of make it look a bit strange, especially like you look at
zoom in on that one, Ben. Sorry.
You're good.
I'll give you extra beans tonight. This is really, you're doing a great job at this.
You got the single like nubbin on this top image, and I'm not quite sure what they're getting at with it. But
I mean,
no.
As long as they don't put 3D into it, then I think it'll be a hit.
Possibly.
They probably just kept it as vague as possible, like to cover the patent, but be able to do things with it, whether it's going to be like an attachment or whatever they're doing. And chances are this doesn't really mean anything. Like big corporations always put patents out for ideas that they have. So that
just
could just be it. Like somebody said it. It seemed like, oh, we might work on this. Like this is the same company that made like cardboard VR headsets. Like they're capable of anything. So that's while it could be like a new attachment for the Switch, or if they plan to bring back like 3DS and on the eShop and like, hey, if you want better 3DS emulation on the Switch 2, for example, here's a detachable screen.
Well, again, Nara here, who writes for Dodo, was saying that in his article that it might just be a legal patent thing, just because their patent was expiring on the DS, and so this is their chance to continue that. So they just again did this very generic thing, just in case they want to do it in the future. And so we shouldn't get too excited. We shouldn't say, oh, this is for sure happening. Does anybody want this? Are we still excited about clamshells in 2023?
Yes, I am.
Clamshell.
I would kill for a clamshell Switch.
That's 3 screens, baby.
I mean, that top screen, I
mean, that's 3 screens. Three.
Well, that's what we have in like this, Samsung Z Fold. Devices like that. I'm a fan of it. I like it.
Yeah.
It's like it's whatever you want. It's a screen everywhere.
Yeah.
Just cover your life in screens.
You know there's gonna be some gimmick on the next Switch. Like Nintendo always has a gimmick. Something's gonna be weird about it. That they're only gonna use for like the first year or two of the device and then completely forget about, and that's going to be it. But this might be it. Maybe the third screen. Yeah, like that. Or HT Rumble. Like Nintendo forgot about HT Rumble in most games. At first, that was like their big thing. There's an AR sensor on the Switch that never got used except for like one game. Like they do stuff like this.
Yeah.
What sucks is it's like some of those are actually really good. Like the HD Rumble is genuinely really good.
Yeah.
But then just no one knows how to use it in more than just... You can feel the ice cubes in the Joy-Con.
Which is a really cool idea.
The use of the HD Rumble in Fragile Dreams. Do you guys know that game?
Oh, yes, yeah.
No.
Nights into Dreams?
I'm not sure.
Fragile?
Now I need to look this up.
No.
But it was one of those post-apocalyptic anime-style horror games, and it made such good use of it. It also made use of the speaker for creepy ghost voices in the background and stuff, so it's actually like it's in the room with you. It was actually a really good thing. I wish more games made use of it.
What if Nintendo's new handheld came with some way to create, like it I don't know, had like a 3D printer or something, like something crazy built into it. You know, like it made ice cubes. Like smart fridges and handhelds are becoming closer all the time. We're already using smart fridge chips. That's a
I knew you would do
scientific
this one.
fact. Where I think
I
we're
knew
closing the gap.
Nintendo Smart Fridge. It's their next hand device.
But in all seriousness,
I
yes,
would buy it.
I would buy that.
Yeah.
I'll take 2.
Yeah.
My fridge does not even make ice cubes.
Yeah, same.
There's also a chance that Nintendo's, like, it's a slim chance, but there's a chance Nintendo's next console isn't like the Switch. Like, you have like the home version, and then you have the portable version you can take with you. Like a Wii U too.
I mean, I just
So you're
Like, you
saying
can
a
actually
Switch, like a regular one. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but it's 2 devices. Like the Wii U. If you can
But
take the
why?
gamepad with you and play like lower end games.
I just
Because it's Nintendo. They're gonna do something weird and they're probably gonna mess it up. It's what they do. Big success, mess it up. Big success, mess it up.
I never
Kinda like
understood the
their
Wii
pattern.
U design with the 2 separate devices. That was so weird.
it was bad.
And now we're
See,
revisiting
it
it with
was-
the PlayStation Portal. It's so strange
Yeah.
to me.
I like
Yeah,
my
let's,
Wii U though.
So let's talk about the PlayStation Portal though, guys. Let's just do that. So I'm gonna do some of this. Stubbs Nubbs, by the way, do not fit this. Oh no.
This
My
is sad.
screen
What's the
share.
point
The
anymore?
perfect device for it.
Oh, hold on, everybody. There's a static image happening. Let's see if I have enough battery life for this.
He broke it.
Well, let's see. Is this? No.
That's a live demonstration of the streaming performance of the PlayStation Portal. Right there.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh man. We'll get this going here. Let's stop the camera. Start the camera. Extra camera.
Somebody in the chat said they're waiting for the drift, and you know what's gonna happen. DualSense controllers drift like crazy, but nobody, that's the one thing that I don't get. Like, people made a huge deal about Joy-Con drift, but people just
There
kind of
we go.
ignored the PlayStation 5 drift.
You know why they did that? Because they actually had aftermarket fixes for that. I remember they had the potentiometer one you put in there where you can literally adjust for the drift.
For PlayStation 5?
Yeah, they literally modded
Oh.
the gamepad to just have a little dial where they can
Yeah.
adjust for the drift. It's
Well, also Nintendo couldn't fix it because if they did, they'd have to admit that there was something wrong and have to pay people.
It'd be the
I
worst. So
They're getting
guys,
sued.
I picked this up from Best Buy. I had the pre-order, and $200. And I thought, well, maybe we can hack this. Maybe we can get into Android. Maybe we can do something with this thing. No. So far, anyways, you can't. I don't know, Seraph, maybe you have some magic if you ever get your hands on one of these things.
I'm not buying this. I'm sorry.
Fair. I mean, it is comfortable. So you if you've used a DualSense, it is a comfortable controller. It's literally a DualSense split in half. But here's the thing. Look at that. So they recessed the tablet part so far down, and you have this weird, these bumps here. Like if you put a screen protector on this, you have to go around the nubbins. It's just
You know what this makes me think of?
What?
You have a Fold as well, right?
Right.
Oh.
Great device. Do you have
Yes.
a Razer? What is the name of it?
Kishi?
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
ever tried hooking up a Razer Kishi to a Fold?
Yeah.
This is exactly it.
This is like the similar experience.
Yes, this is exactly it.
It looks like
It
when
makes
you
me think, why buy this?
Well,
And not anything else.
it's just that, it has one job, okay? It boots up, it connects to your PS5 at home or remote, and then it streams your games. Problem is that the screen is kind of trash for an LED screen. It's way below the standards. It should have been OLED. For $200, I feel like we should have gotten an OLED screen in here, because that, I feel, would have at least justified, because you can use PS Play or other PlayStation Remote Play apps on your smartphone, which probably has an OLED screen, connected up to a Kishi, like you were saying, and you're going to have a better experience, really. I mean, Joey's Retro Handhelds did a similar video about that, where it's like, hey, just use PS Play on any number of your retro handhelds or your phone, and you'll have a better experience.
You know what kills me about this one?
What?
Think about it. Everyone's been giving the Logitech G Cloud such a hard time for it to be a streaming-only handheld, which isn't even true because you can emulate on it. You can install other stuff on it. And this is the stuff people should actually be worried about, because this is literally just a streaming thing. And not just that, it's a limited streaming thing where you can only do PlayStation and not GeForce Now or any of the other offerings out there.
Exactly. You can't do Game Pass on here or GeForce or anything else. But it's one job. I will give it credit where credit's due, is that it connects to my PS5 fast. It works all around my house. I have not had any sort of buffering issues. Let's load up maybe like Spyro here. And, you know, the brightness goes really dim, gets really bright. The battery life is okay. I wish it was longer. For a streaming handheld, you should be getting easily 11, 12 hours, I feel like your G Cloud would. You know, LEDs are fun. The weight is good. For what it is, this is not a handheld, everybody. This is a PS5 accessory. That is what this is. It's a little add-on. It's really for people who want to quickly, you know, if they want to use the TV, hand this to your kid and say, here you go, kid, go play. And they'll take this in the other room. They continue playing the PS5. Or if you're like, I'm in the middle of owning at Spyro here, and I have diarrhea because I have an infection from Mexico that I got before going to Mexico.
Case,
this is just a hypothetical, but you know, bam! I need to keep playing. There, you have this. It'll work in those cases, but I wouldn't sit and enjoy an entire game like Star Ocean or Call of Duty or something for long sessions on this. I would probably just play in front of the TV. This is a very niche thing that Sony has done, and it's fine. The speakers are okay, but it's kind of lazy. This is for the mainstream
user that walks into a physical store and picks up a PlayStation 5 and thinks, hey, every once in a while, I want to play this in my bedroom.
Right. Yep. It's probably for people who own a PS5 who kind of just want to continue to buy into that ecosystem, and they're like, hey, a new PS5 accessory's out. Cool. All right. And there's really no... Oh, no, I immediately died.
And you died.
There's no input lag that I'm noticing that's any different than a regular PS5 controller. I was playing it side by side in my living room to the actual, you know, PS5 on the TV and comparing it, and this seemed frame for frame. It seemed damn close to me.
Well, streaming has come pretty far.
No, I need to stop this. It's true. You know, it's okay. I am returning this to Best Buy, though. I was hoping to keep it. I was hoping we could unlock this and we could emulate on it. It has a Snapdragon 630 or something inside of it.
660, something like that.
660?
Yep.
You know, but the viewing angles are just so bad. I guess if you wanted to keep it as an extra PS5 controller, it works as a PS5 controller.
Oh,
you know,
really?
And it's comfortable. You know, and I like how far apart it is for my hands, for me anyways. I always prefer to pull controllers further apart if I can, so I mean I like that, but it's not enough to keep it for $200. Like, just give me my money back. I don't.
No. Especially not when you can easily find a G Cloud for like $250 brand new.
First of all, that, and second of all, if streaming is actually an afterthought for you,
oh no,
and you're in for something bigger, now with the OLED Steam Deck coming out, the used market is flooded with cheap and affordable LCD units. So why would you not get, I don't know, a 64 gig, $250 Steam Deck on the used market and just put a bigger SSD in it?
Yep. You use Shiaki and you can stream your PS5 to it too.
Exactly.
It gets
Yes.
really
Yep.
dim though. I do like that. Problem also it doesn't have Bluetooth. So you can't connect any Bluetooth headset. You can only connect PlayStation's PS Link headset, which is kind of dumb. And it has airplane mode. But why would you ever need airplane mode on this when you has one use case? At no point would you ever need, unless this is some sort of FTC requirement.
That's what I was gonna say. I
That's
think Android
probably
devices
it,
have to
yes.
have it. Yeah.
So, and that's it. And that's all your settings. You know, you can't
Yep.
set your resolution. You can't set your network settings beyond just connecting to your Wi-Fi. It's very, very limited. And I'm sure that there's going to be updates
This is
and
the
stuff.
Steam
but,
Link, the actual Steam Link box before it was unlocked, and before
Yeah.
they released the SDK to actually make
But-
third-party apps for it.
yeah, and if that ever happens, then that changes everything. That's a whole different ballgame. Then
I'm
you have a
still
really
so mad.
comfortable.
I'm
Good
also
haptics,
mad
right?
that they
What?
shut down the PSM program
Oh, well,
for the PlayStation Vita. That was so good.
well,
Now, if this thing actually had access to like PS Now streaming and other things like that, it'd be a different story. Like I can
Yeah.
actually see a use for that. But if it's just for streaming only from your PlayStation 5, then nah, I just don't see the benefit of it. Other than somebody that just doesn't know how to set anything up, or they don't want to set it up, or they're just big fans of the DualSense. I guess
we're not going to watch me anymore. It's fine.
there's definitely a market for it, unfortunately. But
Yes,
not
PS5.
us.
It has the PS5 haptics, so it's the only remote play option that gives you the full haptic experience of a DualSense controller, and that's what it is.
Yep.
Cool. People are asking in our Discord, why aren't you making a channel for this? There's like a whole debate about why we shouldn't have a channel for this, because it's not a handheld.
It's
It's an accessory.
Yeah.
It's a controller. Yeah,
Yeah.
If it ever gets unlocked, that happens. I think then of course it deserves a channel. It's a whole different story then. We can do a whole bunch of cool
looks
stuff.
like you're-
And
Yep. Oh.
What are
What?
you? Are you?
Huh?
Am I?
Are you?
Am I
you-
naked or what's? Why are you looking at me like that? Or is
Maybe.
Not right now.
nubs or?
No, not right now. Not right now. We'll talk later. That's for the private show afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about some other stuff. So you guys know that the PS Portal is not probably going to go on sale for Black Friday. If it went to sale for like $100, then I would say, hell yeah, get yourself a PS5 controller that's wide.
Yeah.
Get this. But there are other
This is
handhelds.
something I can actually see because it looks comfortable.
It is comfortable. It's the most comfortable PlayStation controller I've ever used.
Yeah, but looking at it from that angle, I could actually see myself buying this. Okay? If I take this as a controller in a price range of a controller plus $50 on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I see it in that price range ever, Black Friday, whatever, in a year from now, who knows, right?
Yeah.
If that happens, I would pick this up immediately.
So
Travis, the people said no more Portal talk.
okay, real quick.
It's a
though,
wide controller. Yeah.
I did just realize I'm pretty sure Sony sells a controller that is the same price as this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of
the
the Elite
the
controllers.
DualSense
Yeah.
Edge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just get that controller.
How much? Yeah,
Oh my god.
same price.
Why?
I don't know.
Which
No, just no. That's
Guyver, it
half a
was in
Steam
the
Deck.
it was in the server suggestion channel. That means it's a mass debate,
yes.
Yep.
of course. Well, PS Portal, a flop. I'm calling it. I'm saying they flopped. They flip-flopped on this one. It's a flop.
It's
Ayaneo has a pending potential flop or not, called the Ayaneo Slide, which is taking the GPD Win 4 to task, and it has a slide-out keyboard. Are you guys excited about this, or kind of meh? Because I'm kind of
I'm
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm burned out with Ayers offering.
I'm mad, but
They won't stop. They won't. They're just barraging us with the handhelds. Like,
It
who has
looks
money?
Like a Switch.
Who has money
It looks
to
like a Switch and a
purchase
cracked controller.
every Windows handheld that comes out from them? Like, who is that person? You know, is there a person?
I don't think there's really a person who needs this, but
It slides. It's like a sidekick, and it starts at $704.
which isn't that bad, honestly.
That's not. I mean, it's not bad pricing, but in a world when you have the ROG Ally at Best Buy right now for $450 new, why would you ever get this?
Yeah. And the thing that kind of confuses me on this one is they don't have a 1 terabyte option.
Oh, really?
So the price just jumps up to $966 if you aren't getting the base one.
Oh, it's weird.
And then after that, it goes up to a 4 terabyte model with 64 gigs of RAM. And that jumps up another
Why would you?
$300.
Why would you? Sorry, guys. I know. I shouldn't be making fun of handhelds. It's just that 64 gigs of RAM in this. I don't know.
Who needs that? Who
The
needs
only
60
handheld where that makes sense is the GPD WinMax 2. Because you can actually use that for getting actual work done. I had one for a limited
Typing,
time.
baby.
That one was actually really good.
I mean, Excel spreadsheets on this is going to be A tier, S tier.
Oh, yeah.
I hate the ergonomics on it. It looks terrible. It really looks like a switch, like inside one of those cracked like Nitro deck controllers.
Well, it
You
looks like
slide it down.
It looks like they took the Pocket Air and then added a keyboard and put Windows on it. And the Pocket Air does not have the best ergonomics, I have to say. And so imagining that with this, I think I'm just, again, like you guys, I'm just exhausted from the torrent of handhelds from Ayaneo this year. Had this come out earlier in the year, I love handhelds. I love clamshell handhelds. Had this clamshell come out earlier in the year, I would have been probably more stoked on it. But we've had
Is this a clamshell?
10?
It's not really a clamshell.
Sorry.
And it's not
Where's
really
my
a
brain at?
clamshell.
I don't know. I've had a lot
But they are announcing 2 clamshells, right?
Yes,
Yep.
they are.
lately. Yeah, they
They
are
just
doing
can't help
clamshells.
themselves. They won't stop. We thought Anbernic was bad. Like, oh, look at all this releases. But now Ayaneo is like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
I mean, in the GPD Win 4 was earlier this year. I love the GPD Win 4. Feels good, plays well. Still one of my top favorite Windows handhelds. They just came too late with this one. It's too much money now, I feel like. And I think we're going to move on from it. You know, I've yet to see anyone go crazy over this one.
Yeah.
Who's like, no, this is,
Here's the
you know,
thing.
this is the handheld.
Somebody in chat is saying, like, if we're going to hate on this one, we got to hate on the Win 4. But to be fair, one of the reasons we're kind of over it is just because Ayaneo does so many devices. Like, it's too many of them. We've seen a lot from them. And this is something we've seen another company already do in GPD. So
Yeah.
it's nothing new. It's not really exciting. It's not that we're hating on it or that it's going to be a bad handheld. It's just,
No,
it's a lot.
it's
Well, let's compare this to the GPD offerings, right? I could literally go back right now and list every single GPD Windows x86
Yeah.
handle, right? Going back, because there's
Mhm.
like what? A refresh every year or so, right?
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
With Ayaneo, I could never ever start listing them all because there's so many, I
No.
don't even know them all anymore.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
somehow are releasing more handhelds than Anbernic or powkiddy.
yeah.
Think
Yeah.
about that for a second. Let that sink in for a second. I think they released more this year than those two companies.
Yeah, but now think about it. They must make money about this somehow. Otherwise, how would they keep doing this?
They're small
China, baby.
batches that they're
Yeah.
selling, and I think it's their
Yeah,
dream.
but
I think it's Arthur's. It's
R&D that
Arthur's.
goes into this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you're writing off sort of the dreams of this man, this Arthur guy, who dreams it into being, and then it actually happens. Like everything he
Mhm.
dreams up becomes a real product. And all I'm saying is maybe it doesn't need to be that way. Everyone, you know, maybe not everyone. Space it out. What's the rush? What's the rush?
Yep.
I mean,
That's another thing, though. With so many handhelds, they don't exactly have the best track record for customer support. So if something goes wrong with it, there's a lot of people that say that they've been waiting months for a response or for a new part or something like that. So that kind of makes you a little wary to recommend them in general.
And really, it's just from how fast they move from one device to the next, they just kind of leave it behind. I mean,
look at the Pocket Air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're still finishing up shipping on the Coon. Still.
Yeah. There's people that are still waiting on that one, and they already got this one on the way, and they've got another one that's coming out. Plus, they have that whole new like a retro line they're working on. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we have 3 Ayaneo devices in this podcast.
Yeah.
We have 2 more to talk about, not just this one. But this one probably is one that I was hotter on about 6 months ago, where I said, okay, this might be cool. Of course, it's a slider, not a clamshell. I corrected myself there. But it is live now. If you want to back this, we do have it in our description on Indiegogo. They have 44 days left. The pricing for what it is good. So if this is something you're interested in, it's going to be a high quality device. It's going to be high quality hardware mixed with, in my opinion, so software on it's a non-OLED screen, right?
Yep. IPS.
And with the Steam Deck OLED now, oh man.
It's got a
To be
that's
fair
tough.
to them,
OLED deck.
I did have a Geek for a little while, and the build quality was really good on it. I didn't really have any hardware issues with it. Like on that side, they're
Top-notch.
good. Yeah,
Top notch.
but so overall, I liked it. I wasn't a huge fan of the face button side, but that's kind of the thing with Ayaneo. They like that smaller like face button setup. But overall, that was a good device. It's just if you do have issues with it, though, which I've talked to people that have issues with Ayaneo devices, there's not a lot of support. So if you're going to invest that much money, keep that in mind.
Yep.
I don't know. Talking about support, I think there's a big difference here between the US and Europe, because in Europe you kind of get 2 full years of warranty on all electronics. Okay. The first year is essentially on the manufacturer. Okay.
Yeah.
And after that, if you play your cards right, you can, for example, get a Steam Deck. 2 years later, you're out of warranty. You sell it for a little bit of jump change, and now the OLED came out, perfect timing, right? You hop onto the next Sim, have your next 2 years of warranty, right? And at that point, it becomes somewhat of a handheld device loan, which gives a big advantage, especially in Europe, towards stuff that is readily available versus stuff you're importing, because you can't really make do on the 2-year warranty, loan, whatever you want to call it, right? You don't have that option. So in Europe, a lot of that stuff is skewed heavily towards the Steam Deck, towards the ROG Ally, and of course now the Lenovo Legion, because those are the 3 big ones you actually have access to, where you can make use of the 2-year warranty. So, see, most of the time, people over here just buy those 3, simply because it's way easier to handle, even if there is an issue. Talking out of experience with my own Steam Deck, I'm on RMA number 4.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I actually had a very bad draw with that. Despite all of this, I loved every second of it, because I knew it was under the 2-year warranty. I could mail it in, get a new one back, and I don't have any issues. If the same thing was to happen with a China-made handheld, I would be in the deep shits and out of $1,200 average.
Yep.
You still love it.
Yeah.
Well,
I had a
goes to
similar
show.
experience at Valve. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone through 3 Steam Decks now, I think. Only had one that had some funky issues, but in general, been pretty good with them. Pretty good QA, but Ayaneo actually has better QA, I believe, than the Steam Deck, because I have just not ever had any QA issues with their handhelds, and yet, so that's commendable. And yet, there's just so many that it's too much. It's completely oversaturated. Speaking of Ayaneo, we have 2 more to get through, though. So they made something called the Pocket DMG. So they're entering now this sort of niche vertical handheld space, following behind devices like the Analog Pocket. And it looks like this. Kind of looks like maybe like a GKD style with those rounded edges. But this is coming out shortly. I'm sure in the next month. Part of their live stream recently. And...
Okay.
They're not giving us a whole lot.
It
But
No, they never
I mean-
do. I hate their pictures.
it perks
From
me
what
up
I'm
a bit
seeing here.
more because it
From what I'm seeing here, this
Yeah.
looks like one of those China power bank handheld combo things with the rounded edges.
Oh,
I love those.
You know those?
those shoulders though.
Oh, it's got a
That's-
volume wheel.
I
It
like
does
that
have a vol-
actually.
I like
I
that
like
too.
volume
Yeah.
wheels.
This has me more excited though than the other one because it being a vertical like this, it's got to be cheaper, right? I mean, this has got to be a couple
has to
$100 at most, and I bet it runs Android. They're not going to
Probably
be
will.
swinging in here with Linux right out the gate,
No.
yeah.
and I think their Android ROM, while not perfect, definitely is serviceable.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
okay with the Pocket Air, even though it's buggy as hell. It still gets the job done.
Feels nice. It looks good, but
See, looking at it, it looks like it's going to be something along the lines of like the 353V. And
yeah.
we have so many options for that it's hard to get excited for it because I can't really see it doing anything different.
Yeah. I can't get
And it's
over-
going to be expensive. Yeah.
You think that they possibly could bring this in under $300? You think that's possible for them?
$299.
Because we did the Pocket Air early bird for what, $270, $279?
Yeah.
So
Well, it's because they gave up on it.
They
I mean, that
did.
has an OLED screen. I'm sure this
Yeah.
probably doesn't. What if we saw this for $150 to $200?
No way. I
Even
Wait,
if we
watch
do,
this
I would
actually
first have
have
to
an
know
OLED
what it
screen
does.
though.
Watch it have an OLED screen. Have you ever seen a 4.3
Yeah.
OLED screen?
I mean, no, but it's
I mean, but-
Ayaneo. They might do
but
it.
it's
Like, if
Ayaneo,
they're
they
trying
might-
to go premium, like, maybe if they
Bye,
have
Travis.
like some type of FPGA in here, maybe I don't know.
We just don't know anything yet. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
No, there's
We're talking about these couple of renders, but I'm sure we'll see it very soon. And this potentially could be cool. I think that's the thing, is that I'm not big on their Windows handhelds, but I love so far their Android offering. So
yeah.
give me more of that. Give me some more Ayaneo build quality mixed with Android, coming in with some mid to low budget options.
Yeah.
Let's do
budget
it.
and
Let's go.
Ayaneo just don't go together.
I know. It's a funny, I couldn't say
Yeah.
those two words together. It felt
No,
painful. But
Yeah.
they're not only entering the vertical space, they're also bringing us a mini PC that they're designing after like a Macintosh SE. So if you look at this, I mean, God, where do I have it around here? I don't know if I do. These things
yeah,
by Shar Geek.
Yeah.
You know, there's little GON chargers. It looks like that, except it's a mini PC, and I think it has. What's the chipset in here, Band? Do you know?
They have, of course, they haven't told us what the chipset is.
So
Uh,
cute.
I would
It is.
imagine it's probably a 7840, just like the slide.
It's
Okay, that actually sounds pretty cool. A 7840U and a little mini PC like that, just sitting under a TV or something, is actually a kind of a cool idea. Why
give
would
us
you carry it in your
give,
purse?
give us this for $500.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is cool.
I don't
it's
know. $500 is a bit too rich for my blood for this kind of stuff.
It is.
Yeah, but
For the same thing, you can get a handheld and just get a dock.
yeah, it is
Exactly.
cute. It is cute.
One thing that I noticed when looking through these pictures is I can't tell if that's exactly the same as the Mac face. Oh,
ETA Prime covered it apparently.
Oh,
Thanks, Russ. Missed that.
yeah.
oh, it's got the Shark Geek face.
Yeah, I noticed
Yeah, it
that. and I'm
does.
like, isn't that the Mac OS face?
Wait a minute. It is. I mean, it is. But it's
Yeah,
not the
the
first
same
time
face
that
and the
they've.
charger.
I mean, they've aped other brands.
Oh,
You know, plenty of
5700U
times.
for the high spec model.
Oh,
And they're
Russ just said it's a 5700U.
oh really 5700U.
Mm-hmm.
We might see this for a decent price.
yeah.
Give me a $300 to $400 mini PC. Yes, please.
I mean, at 300 to 400, but ugh. There were
The
some.
price is right. This is something you would hook up to a LG OLED smart TV just to get rid of the LG OLED quote smart.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
I mean, it's going to come with it's going to be well built. The software, you're not going to worry about a touchscreen stuff. It's going to be a Windows box.
Yeah.
I almost wish you could buy the shell for this. Like put your own internals in.
That's pretty cool.
Give us the shell. The shell's cool.
Because I think that's what you're gonna pay for in the end.
Yeah.
Is the shell. But
Good job, Ayaneo. I don't know what you're doing over there, but the vertical, that's neat. That's cute. Enough Windows handhelds. Let's stop for the year.
Somebody is just sitting there like an Ayaneo, just throwing money at people. Like, give me ideas. Just chucking at it. Like,
Give me
something.
products. Well,
sir,
they
we're
do
out of
these.
ideas. Shut up. Just chucks money at them.
Keep doing it.
Keep
All right,
doing
now
it.
prepare the live stream. It's I mean, it's impressive. It's impressive that they're able, because us as consumers and tech reviewers, we can't even keep up with the products. Really, it takes a lot to even keep up with it. Imagine them having to create this stuff, create all the advertising, all the work that goes into this. It's somebody's full-time job, over full-time job, to be just getting out the information from Ayaneo to us. I don't know how they do it. They must have a
Good
very
old
large
Chinese labor laws.
workforce.
Yeah, I was about
and-
to say.
Yeah, that's
It
what
can
I was-
only be
The
that.
whole time I'm just thinking about that. I'm like, oh man, the poor people.
Oh, Clef. Yeah.
Check
No,
GPT.
no, they didn't ask ChatGPT because then the wording would be correct.
And the hands would be weird.
So they have multiple R&D teams, maybe, that are all going off in their own directions. I don't know, guys. But as far as Ayaneo goes, Pocket Air is A-okay in my book.
They make
We'll see.
good-looking stuff.
We'll see about this one. We'll see about this one. Next, we have Terrans Force Handle 5. What in the hell is this, man?
It's the Terran Force, man.
The Terrans Force,
Yeah.
Terrence Force Handle 5.
Is it called the Terrans Force?
Good old Terrans.
Terrence Force. Terrans Force.
Wait. Oh wait.
Terrans.
Is it?
Terrans
Sorry.
Force. Another 7840U handheld
Yay.
that
With
comes
some-
with a soccer ball.
With great marketing on their website.
This is the
Just-
typical AliExpress listing that I'm so scared of.
This
Yeah.
isn't even like a full image of the device. It's just like the render of it.
Oh, it's an absolute with the 7840U in it.
It looks like a powkiddy X28 kind of.
Ooh.
A bit.
It looks
A
like
bit.
an absolute.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
knew they would have to put one of those images in.
Of course,
course.
they have to IPS
how it sells.
display. 120 hertz. Okay. 1080p screen.
50 watt-hour battery.
All right.
So
What's the
same
price?
size- Ooh. I don't think
Do we
there's
have that?
a price yet.
Now, is this on a crowdfunding?
Not yet. It's still on. It's still just on their website. Oh, that image is shaking. Oops.
Travis,
It's vibrating. It's the vibrations.
I
Travis,
know,
I just talked to GameSir today about the G8, so we'll see. We'll see. We're talking about that. Might be able to do a review on that soon.
So it's 7840U, 120 hertz. It's just another version of the 1X Fly.
I mean, more than likely, yeah.
Yeah.
But
With a
It-
really bad D-pad.
it does have 100-watt charging, apparently.
I think the 1X Fly did too.
Oh, did it?
I think so.
Great.
So we have a no-name company entering the market again. Now, some of these other no-names that have done 7840Us or have announced them never came to fruition. So I don't have full faith yet. D-pad looks okay. I don't know. I wouldn't, unless the price is ridiculously cheap for some reason, I wouldn't know why to recommend this to anybody over anything
I
else
love
that
how
we have this year.
I like how slowly Ryzen is just taking over the whole gaming, like PC gaming CPU side of things.
Oh,
Everything
yeah.
has a Ryzen chip in it. Yeah.
I mean, I remember, like,
Oh,
it,
the
used,
TJD. Yeah.
it used to be all, like, Intel Atoms, and then it was,
Yep.
like, i5s, and then the Ryzen 4500U came out, and they started moving over.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just them.
That's just Ryzen. Yeah. That's all you find.
Pretty much.
Yep.
I mean, that's okay. Everyone knows this chipset now. We know what it can do, and people are going to town on it. I think the chips are easy to source now, and the problem is the prices are just still too darn high across the board.
Yeah.
You're only getting good prices from Valve and now from Asus, at least for Black Friday sales. So
just wait a couple months with the 8000 series comes out and people start selling these for cheap.
Yeah. Just wait. Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing. When you buy one of these Windows handhelds, the value depreciates immediately. And good luck selling it for what you got it for. You're going to be dropping it a significant amount if you sell it in the community anyways. Because it's just tough. It's just really tough. People can just wait a few months and they're going to get the next latest, greatest chipset. I'm on my soapbox here about this, but I'm done with it. I'm done with all
Don't
that.
buy into fear of missing out.
Yeah, don't buy into fear of missing out. You do not need every Windows handheld. In fact, you don't even need one Windows handheld. Just get the Steam Deck.
Yep. That's what I was going to say. You can find a used Steam Deck for really cheap.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen them go as low as $200. Come on. Everyone can afford this at
With
this
the
point.
with the OLED out now, you can get those LCD models on refurb or get it used. Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yep. And here's the thing, even in my experience, even if you buy it used, Valve will still give you some type of warranty on it. Because I had that happen. I bought a used Steam Deck, the screen wasn't working. I contacted Valve, I sent them an email. I told them exactly what happened. Like, hey, I bought this used, screen wasn't working, just wondering how much you guys would charge me to fix this. And they just sent me a new one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, neat.
They didn't charge me anything. Yeah.
This is why Valve is the king at the moment. Because I've had a similar experience. And it's just so nice actually getting some useful help rather than calling a hotline whose only job is there to get you off the hotline.
I mean, it's true. It's true. Let's talk about potential e-waste of the week. Besides that one, that could potentially be e-waste. But the R33S is here. That's a new one announced from Mysterious Game Console.
Oh, wrong. Nope.
Not that one. Not that one.
It's Ban's first day on the screen share job. He's doing a great job, though. He's doing a great job.
Every time you get a wrong one, you get one less bean.
All right, give me a second.
I'm deducting the beans. This comes with... how many beans
Oh, yeah,
do
put
you
the
get in a
vents where
can?
your fingers go.
That's the E6.
That
My
makes
bad.
sense.
Yeah,
I would actually like this.
Vents on your hands?
that's the
Oh,
E6.
yes.
Yeah,
I've
we
got
can talk.
ventilation issues really bad.
We can talk about the E6 first, Ban. It's all right. So the E6, I don't know if this is a scam or not. Multiple people now have gotten empty boxes from this company. This is the one we were talking about for a while. It's potentially, I mean, it looks good. The price is right. And it plays up to, I think this one's a 3326, and then they're releasing a 3566 in the E6 Plus next month. But the fact that they sent empty boxes doesn't inspire confidence so far, and I can't say that I recommend it. Even our own buddy Retrobreeze posted a picture on Twitter that was like, hey, here's my empty E6 box. I did go in and cancel my order. At least I requested my order to be canceled because I said, this is crazy. We've been waiting for way too long. We're at the point where, is this ever happening? I don't know. Cadence, I know, says that she has 2 E6s on order waiting to ship. So I'm sorry, everybody. I'm off this train. I don't have confidence in this company after sending, even if it's some ploy to sort of get their shipping time extended from AliExpress's policies. I don't care. That is unacceptable to send an empty box when someone gave $70 originally for this thing. That's crazy. What is wrong with them? No. And it can't be e-waste if it doesn't exist. Yes.
That's true. Yep.
It's cardboard.
Isn't this the one where we saw a video of a guy playing what looked like to be a video? Remember last podcast?
Yeah. We were hot on this one. I mean, it looks great. Do we have a picture of the front shot band at the front of the handheld?
There you go.
Oh. I mean, great's a strong 5,000
milliamp hour battery. I mean, we were definitely hyped on it because it looks like a Steam Deck. It's miniature. It seems like it had everything going for it
Mhm.
for a great price. It's even cheaper now. They're selling empty boxes for only $50 instead of $70.
Oh, that's a
And
deal.
So I
if
mean,
you
that is a
wait till-
smoking deal.
If you wait till November 23rd, it'll be even cheaper.
You can get an empty box even cheaper by that point. There's other shops that are offering this handheld too. So I really wonder, is it just a case where it's going to happen soon and they're just all these shops are pre-selling? But the empty box business, I don't mess with that, and I'm off the train. So everyone, let me know if this one ever arrives. We'll talk about it. But
Yeah.
it's very frustrating, and it's dumb.
Nothing about this looks real.
No.
Now,
Yeah,
especially how excited he is. Nobody gets that excited.
No.
Come on.
No,
I like the
it's-
green. I like the green colorway. If they, yeah, there it is. Like the apple green. I thought that was kind of neat. I mean, it looks like a little well, what are those ones from gosh.
It looks like one of those
Station.
water toys that you
Yes.
press and there's like a ring inside of it. Yeah.
There you
That's what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Like you would press the analog sticks to get like the water streams and you just get the rings. Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Evercade is what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's real. I don't know.
I don't think we'll get the E6 Plus either.
We'll see. I would suggest
Multiple
refunding
of
your
them.
order if you have one on order, though. That's what I'm going to say here. So we run into this on AliExpress sometimes. Okay, now let's circle back though to the R33S, the Pocket Boy, it's called. And Ben, I'll give you a minute to get that ready. This is from the Mysterious Game Console. So they made the R36S, the D007, the R35S, and I'm missing one.
The R36.
Legends.
The what?
You said R36S?
Yeah, 36S, 35S,
The dude.
and the Dude.
I think that was those three.
No, they were also did that fan. They did the fan handheld that had a physical fan that blew on you.
Oh,
as
the
you
one that
played.
Rob talked about?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that was them.
You know, they're just knocking it out of the park. They walked with their fan Famiclone. They started to jog with their Dude, and then they were starting to run with the R35S, and they're just going to town on the R36S. You guys seen that thing? I mean, that thing's doing great, and it feels good. And with a little bit of modification, you got yourself a great sub $50 handheld. I'm just enjoying Ban furiously looking for this topic.
No, there's actually there's
by
a
James.
Reddit video of
Oh,
the R33S. That's what I was
nice.
trying to find.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at this.
So
So they copied a Miu Mini Plus and put an R3326 inside, right?
yep, this post is saying that it's a modified R36S board, but I mean that makes sense. They just removed the sticks.
I'm surprised it took this long.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's extremely smart on their end. In China, nobody cares about the laws. Everyone copies everybody. And with the software already existing,
There's
they
a
have
community.
absolutely zero R&D to do.
I guess so. I mean, who's going to get punished, right? You know, and this is a blatant ripoff. This isn't just a copy. This is
A ripoff.
Yep.
ripoff.
this is a complete. This is astounding. This is a horrible thing. What are they doing?
It is horrible.
Can we zoom on
But
this?
for the end user, depending on whether the hardware holds
Oh,
up, this
that
might
is just
be
a
extremely affordable.
Though
well, sure.
Yep.
I do hope whatever comes out of this isn't as glossy as the one in this video is,
Wow.
because they rotated the handheld like halfway through this video and it just does not look good. Here it is.
Wow.
Yeah, the plastic looks cheap, but it looks like it's like a prototype unit.
Yeah.
That plastic is pretty cheap. I mean, that's
Yeah.
less than Famiclone quality. But that is the
Seems-
yes, that's just a Miu Mini Plus though. I mean, that's just a Miu Mini Plus with a 3326. So technically, it's better performance wise than a Miu Mini Plus.
Mhm. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. It's gonna outperform it.
I mean, God, what are we doing here? What is happening? Have we gone too
And you're
deep
probably-
into this? We've gone too deep into this
You're
hobby.
you're probably not gonna have to wait for a bot to tell you when it's available.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
But it all depends if the community gets behind it and you have devs working on it. I'm sure
Not
that you're going to
necessarily.
get...
If the boards are identical, like really identical, then you can literally just copy paste.
Yeah.
This is not like a whole new development.
Well, yeah, 3326, you have a whole line of software to pull from there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, guys.
I think those Chinese companies are playing off of that. They literally expect to just let someone else do the work and then just copy the hardware so that there's absolutely zero software work involved.
I mean, everybody has their part to play, right? I mean, they can offer the consumer to the hardware. Here you go. A dev is going to come in and say, all right, this is my handheld. You know, this is the one that I put my mark on. I'm inspired by this. Someone will be.
Yeah.
If the price is right, it's going to continue this sort of trend of cloning and cloning and cloning, with blood and tears in the streets left in the wake. You know, there's people getting hurt here. There are people, their feelings are getting hurt. There's money being lost. But at the end of the day, we just want to play our Mario games at 60 FPS. And so what do we care? You know, where's the soul? Who's going to step in and be the soul? I don't know.
I'm not going to buy it.
If I get my hands on it, maybe me.
There.
We buy one and send it to you.
We will see.
It's handheld of the year 2024.
Fine.
Well, we'll see where we go with it. Oh man, some weeks, guys. Some weeks, I don't know. Hey, let's talk about consumerism. You guys have Black Friday is happening in Austria. I know you guys at least have Best Buy and some Black Friday deals on micro SD cards. But over here, everyone's getting their wallets out, getting ready to spend that money to help the economy do something. So let's take a look at a few deals. I know we have Raven's article that's published right before the stream. And Raven Mage put together some pre-Black Friday deals. So that is in our description. If you wanted to see, just, you know, we're not going to go through it all right now. But take a look at Raven's article. He's outlining just a bunch of things as far as AR glasses. By the way, these X-Real 2s, X-Real Air 2s are fantastic. I like them a little bit more than the Feature 1s even. The X-Real Air 2 Pros are what I'm hoping to try next because they have dimming that happens electronically, so you don't need to put like a cover over this. Because this one, while you save $100 or so, you have to put a... where the hell is it? Anyways, there's some shades you got to put on here. There's all sorts of tech right now. There's micro SD cards are on sale. If you're looking for a hard drive, there's SSDs that are reduced. If you want to get a drive for your deck that's coming up, I'm waiting for Black Friday to get a 2 terabyte hard drive that I want to put in the deck. What else do we have on there? I know we have there's tablets, there's
a whole
laptops,
monitors.
'Tis the season for mass consumerism. We just did this on 11/11 and on Prime Day, but here we are for Black Friday. This whole season, 8-bit 2 controllers are cheap right now if you've been waiting on those. Monitors, Wi-Fi routers, and you can get 5% off on Stubbs Nubbs. Look at that. Ultimate holiday gift for any gamer.
Yeah.
We have the leading, I'm biased, of course, but we have the leading edge in tactile thumbsticks. So just saying, get your order in for those. But also PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox games, all that stuff's on sale. And if you want handheld specific deals, don't worry. We've put those already in our description of the best deals that we found in those. And I will continue to update the podcast throughout the week and in the description for any new deals we find. And stay tuned on our Twitter, where Ban is always quick to put the latest deals on there. Pimax has really cheap options right now. If you've been looking at a Pimax and you're curious, Amazon actually has those for cheaper right now. Still, it's an option.
Depending on the listing, if it's still in stock, I think the very base model LCD was as low as about $250. There are multiple listings for the Portal, but it got that low.
I mean, that's that's decent pricing for what you're getting there. You're getting, an XR2 processor. ROG Ally right now is at an all-time low at again, I saw an open box for $360 my local Best Buy for RG Z1. The Z1 new, if you want the Z1, what is that? The Z1 Extreme even has dropped to $619 new. I always say, look for open boxed. Their open box items are always in better condition than what they state. Every single time, it seems like. Dude, I got my Legion Go for $500 open box because they said it was satisfactory. I opened it up. There was a blue screen because someone didn't reformat it correctly. That's a quick fix. Boom. Save a few $100. $450 for the Z1, which I still think is a fair choice. Sure, it's not the Z1 Extreme, but it's a little bit better battery life. So this is the one that I would be looking at personally.
And as low as $336.
$336. What in the world for a 7840U? That's a good deal. This is the best deal I think I've seen so far from Black Friday.
It might be the way.
Chagaiver, you want to order, but it's $35 Australian for delivery. I'm sorry, man. I'll talk to the 3D Printed Studio and see if there's any wiggle room or alternate shipping options we can do for that. Because I definitely want you to have my
Australia?
I don't know.
That's a tough one.
We're trying to do international. Things are only $4 as it is. So with 5% off, that's like save a lot of money.
That's like almost $4.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, almost $4. That's a steal. Get it.
Apparently in Canada, it's tougher to get the open boxes, and it's not as easy, nor is the discount as aggressive. Okay. I guess I'm talking about the States then. It's been good.
In Europe, you won't be finding open boxes below $600.
Well.
Which is funny, because right now on Amazon, the European one, they actually have it brand new for $650. So...
USA. No? Okay. I'll stop.
Yeah, no, we keep chanting. It's good.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Best Buys here. We have lots of things. The other deals that I liked, though, again, are AR glasses. I'm big in AR lately, and nearly all of them. Dude, you can get a Rocket Air AR glasses for $200 new on Amazon right now. And that's another ridiculous deal. And I hope you can get that in Austria.
I thought the Rocket Air had those horrible field of views.
Oh, those are slick.
Ooh.
They're definitely the nerdiest looking. They're not the best.
Those are the Macho Man edition.
I like the Rocket.
Oh,
At least
yeah,
the Rocket Max, while silly, has good color tones. It's an OLED screen, and yeah, the Max is what I'd recommend, but you will save more money going with the regular one. The Feature ones is another great option. The X-Real Air 2s and the Air 2 Pros, also great options. The other good deal, though, is the regular X-Real Air 2. The regular X-Real Air is only $270 or so. So that's, yeah, there you go, $271. That's a really good deal. Again, I always look at the deal, and then I look at the used options and go for one of those, because Amazon's return policy, try it. Try the used like new options for their stuff. Save even more. And if there's any issues, it is Amazon, so you send it right back. You don't need the beam. You don't need all these extra accessories. You just need the glasses. They plug into your phone or your handheld or your Steam Deck.
Oh, talking about the X-Real Airs, by the way.
Yeah.
Have you checked out the new Decky plugin for the Steam Deck?
What? No, not the latest, I don't think.
You do know what the X-Real beam is all about, right? It's about fixing the screen to a location.
Yeah, it's stationary. It's like it's VR.
This is no longer needed with the Steam Deck.
Oh, seriously?
Okay.
Yes, they have
What?
updated the X-Real Air driver plugin. It now does stationary screens for you, straight without any accessories. The beam is useless.
Wow. Yeah, it is, and it's $100, and it has to be battery powered, and you have to charge it. It's just another thing you have to charge. So I'm like, no, just plug the glasses straight into the device. That's it. None of these extra accessories are needed for these things, unless you want to use it on Switch, and then you're going to need an HDMI adapter, which is, you can get a third-party one from.
No, you don't. The beam actually has the Switch dock built in. You can plug it in straight away.
Well,
The only thing that sucks is you can't use the built-in controller.
Well,
because when you dock it, it cuts off the physical rails.
so I'm glad that you're an adopter of this technology too. What do you have right now that you're using?
The regular X-Ray Air.
Nice. Yeah. So I mean, what do you think? 271, decent price.
Oh yes, it's twice that over here.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was gonna say. I know I got mine for way more than this. I think it was like 400 something.
To be honest, so I have not checked the Black Friday deals. Maybe they've updated it.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, they're more coming in all the time.
Oh, they actually have updated it. We're down to 313.
Really?
Okay. Never mind.
Okay. All right.
Not bad.
I think these pair so well with retro handhelds. It's not even funny. All the Android devices like the Pocket Air, Steam Deck. It's not going to work with the Linux devices as far as I've seen, but so many handhelds these work with, and it's just a really cool accessory to have. It's not necessary. Okay, it is definitely sort of. It's a want, not a need, but it gives you an OLED screen on any device you want an OLED screen on automatically. There you go. Play it in bed. The bright lights aren't waking up your loved one, and yeah.
Also, don't underestimate the built-in speakers. They are very channeled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You hear
I
everything.
need it.
Your partner that's sitting
Because
next
I
to you
want
hears
it.
nothing.
Yeah. They hear nothing, and that's what's really cool. What I've been doing, and this is silly, but I've been watching like Kim's Convenience is a Netflix show. I've been loving that show. Such a good show. But I'm watching on the glasses right here, and then just below the field of view, I'm playing my Steam Deck right below that. So I'm doing something with the glasses on my phone, watching a show, and then separately playing my Steam Deck. And I can do two things because why not? Because I can.
Am I the only one who puts game FAQ walkthrough on these things while playing something on the Steam Deck?
Whoa. You just blew my mind. What? That is a great. Okay.
Yeah, it
okay.
works really well.
Yeah.
It's
You have
actually
little game
really
facts
nice.
on there. Well, how do you scroll? You use your phone, your Z Fold
Yes.
as your trackpad in Dex mode or something?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
I use
yeah,
it
yeah.
in Dex, and I just scroll through it. It has that nice 2-finger scroll on it. It's literally my mouse pad. It works so well.
Okay. I have such a backlog of games to get through. I need to try this theory. Interesting. See, I was going to rig up a whole situation where I have a tablet with the game facts guide on like a big stand next to my bed and try to do that. But this sounds like such an easier way to go.
I actually tried using one of those Decky plugins because they do have a game FAQ plugin for that, where you can put it in the sidebar. But you know how long those walkthroughs are? And sometimes it just resets me to the beginning of the FAQ file again. So I then have to like scroll down again and again and again to get back to where I left it off.
I mean, that's
so
why.
annoying.
Well, I'm gonna try this idea. I like this idea though. Apparently, Chigiver says the poor man's Steam Deck OLED. Yes, keep your LCD OLED. There you go.
It's not that cheap.
Yeah,
You might as well sell and then up buy,
and get your OLED. All right, so those are some Black Friday sales. Anyone have any final ones that they've seen that they want to bring up? Or just a quick little overview.
I mean, micro SD cards is the obvious one. There's been a lot.
Micro
of
SD cards.
popping up.
What's okay? Here's my thing for micro SD cards. What is now the cheapest way to get a 1 terabyte micro SD card? Who's giving us the cheapest one this year?
I think it might be Team Group.
Team Group. Now, are they giving us like a A2, U3, all
There it is.
the goodness?
It's an A2.
A2,
It's
V30.
$50.
$50 for a 1 terabyte card. Jeez.
Oh dang!
I think I did see. Hold
Surely you jest. This
Yeah.
is
on.
wow.
Steam Group one's actually any good. I don't know, I'm old school. I still buy SanDisk ones.
I prefer SanDisk and Samsung if I can get away with it. But I've used Team Group too. I mean A2 speeds. I mean that's the number I'm looking for. That's going to get us Steam Deck and Ally territory as long as they don't overheat.
I just
Well, the
noticed.
Steam Deck card reader only goes to 100 anyways, so you're not gonna max it out.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and Silicon Power too.
That's the
read
one I
Raven's
always
article.
recommend. This one's A1 actually, as well.
To save $2, no.
Yeah.
Spend $2, get A2. Spend $2. Just do that. This is a new line of cards from them. I haven't seen that yellow coloring, although that's my color for 2024.
You might need to
Gotta buy it.
Yeah,
Yellow handhelds, so many of them.
under $50 for a terabyte micro SD card.
Well,
That's crazy.
that's not all.
Now
though.
imagine
And
you're
you
going on the
know-
used market right now, and you're getting a
Yeah.
Steam Deck LCD for nothing. And
Yeah,
you buy one of these, and you're decked out, literally.
you are decked out. I just can't wait until they do 2 terabytes. I know 1.5 is the limit kind of we see right now, but I bet next year we're gonna get some of these 2 terabytes in for around under $200. No need to do SSD upgrades at that point. You're all set. But enough of these deals. The last thing I want to say for sale, and we've talked about it all stream, is that these dang nubs. Can we pull up the 3D printed studio? I want to show everyone my nubs. Ban, please. I know it's not all about me, but well, dang it, I'm proud of this. So you can pick from a wide array of colors. You can see his color swatches along the left side there. So many. Look at the wide selection. Okay, this dude, he's been working so hard on these nubs. We've been collaborating this for a while, and he's been sending me, prototypes and sending you guys prototypes. We finally landed on the retail models, where it's like, okay, it's the right amount of spikiness, but not too spiky, where it's going to actually harm you. So now it's for sale officially. It's $4, or if you want to look at the SKUs. You can get, why only, $4? You're already spending that and getting shipping and all that. Use the Stubbs 1 code for 5% off. But go ahead and get yourself the sampler. The sampler, if you're not sure what to pick, that gives you all 3. So if we go back to that first picture, Ban, that'll give you the 3 options, which is the retro, which is our RH logo. That's just more of a decorative nub. The spiky, which is really the intended one that I always kind of had dreamed up. And then this new one, the Rosebud, the new and improved Rosebud, it's just a nice tactile feeling. But the spiky really is the one that I intended from the get-go to be sort of the... well, I don't know what else to say other than it's nice to relax and play relaxing games. Probably don't play fighting games, probably don't play intense shooter games with these. It's going to be a little painful, but if you're going to play a racing game, you're going to play Katamari, you're going to play puzzle games, I think let's put on some nice music, put on some Enya, dude, just hang out with Stubbs Nubbs. It'll fit your Switch Joy-Con sized joysticks. We will have Steam Deck sized ones and other sizes on the way soon. I got to send the measurements over for that, but these ones will fit any handheld that does Joy-Con size joysticks. So a lot of powkiddy, Anbernic devices, Ayaneo devices, and yeah, I don't know. That's my sell. So I have review units out to a number of YouTubers, including TechDweeb, Retro Game Core, Mr. Sujano, Game Tech Talk, Team Retrogue, amongst others, and their review should be out soon. So watch out for that. I know Team Retrogue has one out on Wednesday, an in-depth review of the nubs, mind you. That's my shilling.
Thanks for including me.
Oh, and Aish on our channel,
No,
and
it's-
Zoo,
it's-
and
I mean,
Ban.
It's too late now.
Yeah, it's
Well,
too late. You've already
Yeah, it's too
Sorry,
late.
guys.
I mean,
I
I've just
know.
been showing them on screen the whole time.
Hey,
but that's
well-
fine. It's okay.
Hey, well, I appreciate your support. To be fair, you were
Okay,
one of the
no.
last people to get on the train. You were saying this is crazy. What are you doing? And then finally you said, "Oh, now I understand. And my pancreas is 0.5% better." There they are in the retail packaging. So these do come in retail packaging, and they're so cute. I am biased though, since I do sell them, but
spiky.
the spiky ones,
The retro, I like this red a lot, actually.
I like that red too.
And then Rosebud.
And then the rosebuds. Ah, the rosebuds. I it's funny. When I was down in Mexico, I got a chance to share a bit of what I do with some of my family and my in-laws. And they're like, "You're doing what? You're doing something on YouTube, right? Like you do YouTube stuff?" Yeah. And then I took them down, my brother-in-law, down the rabbit hole, and I showed him Stubbs Nubbs, and I said, "Come up to my room and feel this." And he's like, "Oh, that's nice. That's good." And he said, "Very well. That's what you do."
Explaining this thing to somebody who's not in the loop is always a little rough.
Yep.
And no, he's like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "You make your own thing." He's like, "It's wild what 3D printers can do these days." I'm like, "Yep, it's all right. You'll get there. We'll get a convert out of you yet." But it's all right. Nubs aren't for everybody, and I'm just gonna get him these for Christmas, and then he'll know what's up because he has a Switch. So I mean, he has to start using them eventually, right?
Eventually.
I like the gold ones the best. They print things in 3 dimensions now.
What a time to be alive.
I'm sorry that I say things in such a horrible way. I don't know. I think I grew up on American Pie, and my brain's like pre-programmed to just output in the worst possible way. We're done talking about me. Let's talk about the man of the hour, Mr. Black-Seraph. We need the music. Where's the music? Here he comes, everybody.
Didn't know it had a title theme.
Mm-hmm.
He's here. He's got garlic for you. Garlic helps with many things.
It's good
Memory.
for your heart.
Good for your heart. Good to fight off vampires. Gives you bad breath to fight off people trying to kiss you. But no, he's on the podcast, and we've had him on before, and we asked him a bunch of questions back then, and we've been asking questions throughout the stream here, so we don't need to barrage you with things. But dude, how has it been working on Garlic 2? This is one you started mid this year, right? Early summer?
Something like that, yes.
And I know I've been frothing, saying, "Hey, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I want to play with it. I want to talk about it. I want to show it to people." And finally you said, "Okay, all right, here's the alpha. Don't get too excited because it is limited, but what's coming? What's next?"
Well, the very first thing is getting more devices on the roster.
Yeah.
We want to cover more SoCs, essentially build a bunch of templates so that other developers can jump aboard. GarlicOS 2 is not a single-man job. It's an open thing that everyone can jump aboard on.
I like that.
And it's boiled down to be as minimalistic, effort-wise, for the porter as it can be. If you're making your own port for a device that I've never seen, okay, it most likely boils down to a single text file where you give it a little bit of data and you build yourself a bootloader for it, and then you just drop in the already existing image, and theoretically it should boot. Acme Plus actually proved that point, I think 4 hours after release.
It's crazy how fast you can port Garlic to new devices now that you have this base, template set. You were telling me that we should do a live stream with you where we live port to a new device on the spot.
Yes, I'm actually a little concerned that might be a 5-minute stream depending on the device we're porting to.
Oh, look at this guy. 5 minutes. I was like, can you do it under 2 hours? And you're like,
It heavily depends on the SoC and how open it is. If I look at something like the Anbernic devices, for example, they don't come pre-rooted, okay?
Yeah.
And without having a serial port wired up or something else to pull the image off of, you might have trouble getting the base files you need to build your bootloader. And if a device is openly available, for example, there's a unpricker image available on the manufacturer website, then you're probably going to have an easier time because you can literally just pull the files you need off the manufacturer website. So, as I said, it really depends on the device. If it's something where all the files are available, you're going to turn this into a 5-minute job if everything clicks into place.
What about something like the V90? because that's one that we were excited about earlier on. And
Yeah, E90 might actually just be a simple boot script because we already prepared the ARM HF image, which is available on the website. So the V90 is definitely something that's going to happen officially. Yeah, I just don't know how I'm going to clock this in just yet. There's so many things that are currently cooking.
What about something like, I don't know. I'm trying to think how low spec can we go? Can we do something like the Data Frog? Is that possible?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Even though it's completely closed, it's running what? I don't even know what that thing's running anymore.
Some like digital signage thing.
Yeah.
Yes, especially those devices. This is mostly what GarlicOS 2 has been designed for. GarlicOS 2 decouples that whole classical syncing that we need kernel source code access or bootloader source code access or some kind of pre-built SDK where we can get some key information out of. GarlicOS is built around the idea that we have nothing. The manufacturer gave us absolutely nothing to work with, and we can still make something happen.
I mean, it'd be ridiculous. It'd just be too cool. Having that quick resume, having that features like going between your save states and then popping that SD card out and putting it in similar devices like the M17. You know, I don't know.
Which
Could
also
we
works.
get Garlic on the Switch?
Theoretically, yes, we could.
That would be awesome.
That'd be interesting.
The Switch has all the prerequisites. You're probably familiar with SwitchRoot, the group that actually hacks all of the Linux and Android stuff open there.
Mm-hmm.
It would literally be a simple script running on the Linux side. If you were to run SwitchRoot on their Linux side, and you made yourself a little bootloader script to swap the rootfs out and execute the main init file, then you would have GarlicOS running on the Switch.
So, but we would have to chip it first, right?
Depends on the Switch model.
What about something like the Analog
That's really
Pocket?
cool.
Well, I'm not familiar with the Analog Pocket, so I can't really tell you.
Yeah, completely different idea. FPGA, right?
Yeah.
Although it does do some emulation. I don't know. I know that your dream is that you can really port this to any handheld. And you have a team like Turtle, like you said, working on the Retroid side of things. So he's really knowledgeable in Retroid Pocket 2S. So that's happening. The 2 Plus already has the alpha out. Are you porting to something like the Retroid Pocket 1? Are you doing, the older devices, RP2?
I don't have the Retroid Pocket 1 available.
Do you need the device with you to do it?
Yes, I need to have at least some sort of access.
Okay.
I'm not saying it has to be me. It could be another developer doing it.
Because it is open
GarlicOS
source, right? Yeah,
yes,
you have your
GarlicOS
GitHub out there.
Exactly. I also told Acme Plus, because he did a test bootloader port to the M17, which actually seems to work fairly well. I told him if he wants to make it semi-official, we can literally just join it together into the GarlicOS GitHub organization.
Wow.
So that the bootloader's all in one place.
Wow. I love seeing the devs come together like this to work together on this stuff. You guys are doing ridiculous things. Already having it on the freaking 405V, the 405M. The major feedback we've had so far is that people just want to have more systems supported. They want to be able to play beyond PS1. How far off are we from that?
Well, that's probably one of the bigger points. Hardware acceleration is a little bit tricky because we are now working with so many diverse platforms. A big chunk of the devices we're now supporting are technically Android devices. We're looking at the 405V, 405M, the Retroid Pocket. Those are all made for Android, which means we are actually not having access to proper Linux-sided hardware-accelerated drivers. Which means we will probably have to go through Hybris, which is a Bionic to glibc translation layer, so that we can use the Android-sided drivers. This is something we've been talking about for a while. And this is probably the next big step we're taking before we're worrying about Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and on-screen keyboard support.
Okay. Fair.
And the Linux devices definitely have an edge on this because we have if we're looking at Rockchip, for example, we have the Linux-sided drivers available, so we can actually just slot those in. They might need a little bit of guide patching so that they work with the Android kernel, but other than that, it should click into place.
And so what you're talking about then is, could you take one SD card and then put it between any other Garlic device?
Yes. That's the whole
no
point.
No matter what it is. I mean, you could take it from a Data Frog all the way up to an RP3 Plus.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous. That is... I mean, we're seeing this with MIUI now. And you know, Sean Inman is supporting, I think, 4 or 5 devices now. And that's cool, but this is taking that idea and really blowing it up. And this is, you're going to have other developers coming in to help port. And you have a whole movement now, this revolution where you're taking this beautiful software, this beautiful UI. And I know you took inspiration from Onion OS originally, but you grew it into its own thing. And you're now joining it to all these emulation devices, which traditionally have just the worst software, the dumbest ROMs, numbered ROMs, terrible experience, just like it's like the last thing these companies ever think about. So my mind is overflowing right now with joy thinking about this, man. I'm stoked. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying thank you.
To be honest, the biggest
donate to this guy.
You're welcome.
Kofi.
I started this because it's so much fun, and I still do it because it's so much fun.
It's a challenge. You challenged yourself last Christmas, and now it's your full-time job, right?
No, I wish it was. It doesn't. This is gonna sound so horrible, but with local prices over here and being the sole supporter, it actually does not throw enough money my way after taxes to actually cover everything. But
Everybody?
That's okay.
No, it's not. I want you to quit your day job and just do Garlic, because everybody, you need to go to Black-Seraph's Patreon in our description, join it, go buy him a Ko-fi or 5, and let's get this train rolling. This man should not have to focus on silly things like work, on his life's passion. He was the chosen one for the Garlic.
I mean, the real cool thing about all of this is, because I still have to hold a day job, most of that stuff happened on weekends or after day job hours. So all of this stuff was moved along across a period of somewhere close to 6 months with, I don't want to say, but maybe 3 hours every weekday and then 10 to 12 hours on every weekend day. And it was just moved along bit by bit.
We got to get rid of that pesky day job, man. That's what I'm saying. That's really the bottleneck here. So
I know it is.
We're gonna turn you into handheld Jesus.
It's just a matter of money. Like, come on, everybody. Let's support this man. Let's get this man going here. I don't
know. I just don't want to appear greedy because it's just a European living situation kind of thing.
Sure.
And I know that it's probably hard to understand for people who don't live in an area like this. It's tough, but it's doable, and I'm extremely thankful for all the people that enable me to do this in the first place. Even to the extent that I am able to do it right now. And I don't even know how to put it into words. I'm so thankful that all of you guys are supporting my work. And I'm so thankful for all my collaborators, for Turtle, and all of the other people that have contributed. I'm just happy that this thing has grown into something that's bigger than myself.
Garlic Island. Yeah, we're starting that off the coast of Mexico. And that's where it's going to be super cheap to live there. You know, you don't need day jobs. We'll just live off Garlic in all ways, digitally, organically, spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
It
Makes me
sounds
think
like
of a dirt lake. I'm correct, the garlic farmer.
It's not a cult. We're not allowed to call it a cult. So.
Oh, okay. It's just Gilroy, California.
Do I want to be the cult's right-hand man? I mean, doesn't everybody? So, it's fine.
Either way, let's bring it back to the actual topic.
Right.
If there are any other questions about the GarlicOS, just toss them my way. I'll try to answer the best I can.
I have a question.
Sure.
Win N64.
After hardware acceleration is the thing, because we don't have a proper software rasterizer for the N64 emulators. That basically means we need to get the first device going with the Linux blob files, so we can actually get the graphic card initialized. And realistically speaking, I think that will probably be the 35XX Plus, simply because the 35XX is one of my primary devices, and I kind of feel it needs a successor.
Yeah.
Wait, so you think that's going to get done like around the time of release, like actual shipping?
Hardware acceleration will not drop on day one of the release, no. Which is why dual boot is such an important thing, so that people can go back between testing the newest GarlicOS alphas and hopefully soon beta builds, and of course the stock OS, which does have working hardware acceleration this time around. So people can actually just use the stock OS for stuff like PlayStation Portable and for Moonlight streaming and all the stuff, while we are preparing the GarlicOS side with the on-screen keyboard support, with the Wi-Fi, with the Bluetooth, with all the other missing components that we're currently still working on. It's gonna drop in bit by bit.
Right.
And people can watch it live happen on GitHub.
How often are you right now releasing updates to your builds? I know before your cadence was like, it seemed like every 48 hours you were iterating. For like 2 months.
Well, technically, people could compile their own builds.
Okay.
There are already some bug fixes that landed on GitHub that are not in the pre-compiled images. So there are minimal changes beyond 2.0 that are already available, but people would have to compile it themselves. It's mostly bug fixes. I figured that once enough bug fixes rolled up, that we are gonna do cumulative updates and just increment the version number bit by bit as we take care of bugs and introduce new features. I figure the actual public builds will land whenever a new major feature is done. For example, Wi-Fi already works internally, but we don't have the proper UI to control it yet.
Okay.
Which mostly hinges on the fact that we don't have a working on-screen keyboard implementation yet. How would you type in your password or...
Right, if you don't have a way to do it. True.
Yes.
I guess you could edit into a config file or something.
Exactly.
But that's against the ethos, right? That's against the user-friendly experience.
Another thing is, I know that GarlicOS 1.x users were big into theming the thing. Okay?
Yeah.
They were all about customization, and I try to bring all of those features back with the 2.0 rebuild. We actually have full theming support for the base colors, and all of the icons can be replaced. The only problem is the base color swapping is currently non-functional because of a bug in the config file serialization. Another thing that needs fixing, which will hopefully land with the next rebuild, then people can actually adjust the base colors as well next to the icons, which they already can.
The other question I have is, and I think a lot of people want to know this, is when are we getting Garlic 2.0 on the 35XX itself, bringing it back to the original device and improving, on features? Like, why would you want to use 2.0 instead of 1.0? Is it going to have more system support? Are you going to take Kariki and the GPU acceleration and combine it and then give us, Nintendo DS on the original 35XX?
Yes, that's the idea. The main reason why the 35XX has not gotten a 2.0 rebuild yet is because it is possible, but as you said, it is not on par with the original one in terms of performance. The original one made use of a whole bunch of hardware trickery to get where it is. It's extremely hardware specific, which is great for what it is, because it squeezes out as much performance and as much, how do I put this, goodness with its custom scalers.
It's finalized, right? That's the final version of 1.0 where it's at now, which is what, 1.5.0, right?
I would actually have to look the version number up right now.
It's whatever the case is, it's finalized and it plays up to PS1, and that's just where it's going to forever sit. You'd have to get it to where it is now and perform as well
Let's put it this way.
yeah.
It's quite easy to explain.
Okay.
The original GarlicOS version was not hardware accelerated in any way other than hardware scaling. The
Okay.
scaling was done mostly by an IPU that sits connected to the screen. Think of it as a little layer in between the operating system and the screen.
Mhm.
You probably know it from computers when you let the graphic card do the scaling. You have a game running at, I don't know, 1024 by 768, right? And it still stretches to your screen, right?
Right.
Which is way higher resolution. It's the same thing there.
Okay.
GarlicOS 1.x runs it at whatever resolution you'd set it to. It could be bigger than the screen, smaller than the screen, but the IPU built into the screen takes care of scaling it to the rest of the screen, which comes at a 0 CPU.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. So you want
This is why it's so performant for such weak hardware.
Right, without even touching the GPU.
Exactly. It does not touch the GPU.
Crazy.
This is all talking operating system to the screen with the IPU in the middle.
Okay.
And with hardware acceleration in the big picture, we no longer have to rely on tricks like this. We can literally just create a GL context for hardware accelerated 3D operation, and we can just render it to a quad and then scale that quad using the GPU to whatever size we need it.
And so then could this lead to eventually, devices like the, like this one, the 405V, getting up to PS2 and GameCube? I mean, I know I asked this earlier, but does there have to be a Linux emulator for those systems to ever get into Garlic? Or are Android standalones possible?
Yes, it needs that. Unless we get some more additional Android emulation layers somewhere down the road. Okay. There is stuff like that, like Waydroid and stuff, which works if you have a Wayland compositor.
Okay,
but
fair.
That's way beyond the scope of this.
Right.
What's more realistic is everything that has a Linux build will probably end up in Garlic at one point or another.
So what does that leave us with? That gets us up to PS2, right? We do have PS2
There are
now,
ARM builds of
Linux.
PCSX2. The thing with PCSX2 is it requires the X11 stack from what I know. So that's something that GarlicOS does not offer. We are running without X11, which means we would need something that's pure EGL or GBM. Anything that runs without that. But it doesn't exclude us, expanding it somewhere down the road. It could be, for example, a port master thing landing there, right? Or some other external add-on. Because there is support for external apps. There already is. So people could just supplement it further down the road with, let's say, a secondary rootfs overlay that has X11 in it. And then you could also side load PCSX2, for example, somewhere down the road.
So what does that leave us for game? Oh, sorry, Aish. Yeah.
I was going to say, do you have any idea of what the performance difference would be running, let's say, GameCube for PS2 through Garlic versus running it on just Android side, like with Gamma or something like that?
That's a good question. That's all hypothetical at this point because we don't have actual numbers to compare. I can only guess. The thing is, if we have a device that has official Linux GPU drivers that we can actually just repurpose here, then I figure we're probably going to be more in line with, what the manufacturer, the OEM, envisioned than if we have to hack something together using Hybris or something. Because most of the Android devices, 405M, 405V, we don't actually have perfectly matching Linux drivers. But most of these devices that run Unisoc, for example, run on a Mali GPU. And even if the drivers are no perfect match between the stuff that you can download from the Mali developer base for the Linux side and the Android side, I have a gut feeling we can still make that work. The combination of Android kernel drivers plus Linux user space drivers. Because I've done it before in the past. It was never released to the public, but that was way back when I worked on the original, not the GPD XD plus, the original GPD XD. That was running on a rock chip.
Good times.
And yes, very good times. And
nostalgia.
That one, I actually got to run rather new Mali drivers simply by patching them up. A few little hacking here and hacking there in Ghidra, and the stuff actually loads up properly and initializes. Which makes me think that the differences between the Linux side and the Android side in the user space are not as big as we're made to believe. So with a little bit of hacking, we might be able to mix and match drivers.
Which would be crazy that you could do that. And next year seems very exciting for what's coming for Garlic and all just the unification of the software for these devices. Frankly, Retro had a question. As an individual who wants to develop an OS, is there a way that he can look at the codes and recompile a build, but with different colors or logos?
Of course, it's all available on the GitHub page.
So there you go. Maybe that's
I have one more question.
Since
a lot of these devices that are going to be getting Garlic are Android devices, is there any chance we can see the touchscreen working on any of them?
Yes, of course. But the thing is, currently the UI does not support touchscreen input. That doesn't mean that the touchscreen doesn't work. You can actually interact with it. It's a regular U input device. You can treat it like any other touchscreen input. The problem is we just don't have it mapped out in the UI yet. I'm not entirely sure if I want to invest all that much time into touchscreen input because of the fact that we are going to target so many devices and some of them on the far low end where touchscreens aren't available. And I don't know, there's so many things we still need to fix and there's so little manpower to allocate towards it because dedicated team members, right? It's mostly just me and Turtle at the moment. There are independent developers that are now looking into the code, but they haven't gotten in touch to formally join the team yet.
Got it. Okay. And you've always been a solo artist, a solo dev. So how do you feel about turning this into a team effort? Is that something you're sort of ready for now?
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. The thing is, I'm not entirely done being a solo developer, but I'm getting my feet wet building some projects that I'm comfortable opening up to the public, where other people can dabble with it, where I can maybe foster some more community feel.
Nice. Yeah. And you're not hiding this behind a paywall, right? This is not. No. This is all.
The only thing about monetization that I thought about, and I'm not even fully decided on that one yet, is the official bootloaders that I'm building. There might be a 1 month, 30-day early access where the pre-compiled bootloaders will be available on Patreon for people that are wishing to support it early. And after that 30-day grace period, it will just become public domain like it's been supposed to.
That's how
you should definitely do that. Yeah.
Definitely do that. Get supported for what you're doing. I mean, that's how you always did it for your Lineage builds across your various devices. And we pay the $10 and we get early access to this stuff. And that was always exciting. Like, oh, it's a new build day, like, cool. I'm going to go flash my device or use the updater. And what do you call that? Twerp? Anyway, TWRP, twerk.
Right?
The updater version.
Project.
Twerk?
I was like, why are you trying to get into twerk?
It's twerking day. Yeah, well, his devices make me twerk. I get the
35XX. By the way, before we forget about it, talking about Turtle's part in this project.
Yes. The man.
If people take a look at the GitHub page right now, they will see that initial work has been done on porting GarlicOS to MIPS devices. So we now actually have early access to MIPS code.
Ooh.
It's not fully done yet. We still
V90?
need to... Yeah, no, V90 is an ARM processor. We already have that stuff sort of ARM HF built, but we just don't have the bootloader done yet. No, this is more like for those a few generations back retro firmware devices.
Like the Retro Stone?
I'm not entirely sure about the Retro Stone.
Not the Retro
Don't get started on the Retro Stone. Oh man, I mean, yeah, it's a niche.
But yeah, it's essentially for targeting MIPS devices, which is a whole different branch, not ARM related. The one thing I'm not entirely sure about yet is we are focusing on the whole micro SD card swapping thing, so that you can take your micro SD card to any device you want. And right now we are kind of limited by the different architectures at the moment. We have MIPS devices coming up. We currently support ARM devices. We support ARM64 devices. And the sweet spot right now are the ARM HF builds, because the ARM64 devices are backwards compatible to them. So you can cover the most devices with an ARM HF build. When we start introducing MIPS devices, so it might be necessary to do a small update to the bootloaders, so that it automatically picks the right rootfs depending on architecture. Because right now it simply takes the rootfs that you copied in there, and it doesn't do any smart choice pick between them.
Okay.
To be
All
truly cross-device compatible across all arches, we need to have one rootfs for every arch on the micro SD card.
Okay. I understood.
And bootloader has to pick the right one.
Understood 60% of that. For all you smart people out there watching, listening, if you're coders out there, listen to this man. Go take a shot and mess around with the GitHub. Contact him. Let's. I want to get more developers into this. I'd love to learn myself. Even like you were telling me that we could do a live stream where you show me how the process is to port, and maybe that's what we need to do. Because if I could port it to a device, I promise anybody else could too. So
how about this?
Yeah.
I think that might be something that people are interested in. How about when we do that porting stream, we take the original 35XX as a build target.
There you go. Okay.
It's gonna run horrible. I can tell you this because this. Yes. It's gonna run horrible because the base is not optimized for the 35XX yet. But we can make it run. We can make it boot. We can take a look at the process.
I mean, that'd be cool. What other devices could we do? I mean, could we do something like the Pocket Air? Would that be crazy?
The Pocket Air is Snapdragon, right?
No, Dimensity 1200.
Oh, it's a D1200. They were gonna do something.
Okay.
I don't know how far off that is.
I don't think we have any backend code for the MediaTek stuff yet.
That's okay.
That's definitely one of the harder devices to start with.
RGB 30.
What's in there? It's a rock chip, right?
Oh yeah, rock chip. RGB
3566.
3566.
Yeah, that one could be doable once I'm done with the ARC.
Okay. Right,
because
you're doing
right
the
now
RG
I'm
ARC.
doing the initial bring up for the ARC, which is also rock chip based. Once we have that code in the repository, then we can do a port to that.
Is that the next device that's getting supported right now?
It's the one I'm actively working on at the moment.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, I'm so excited for that. This is going to be a permanent garlic device.
What's your cadence for adding new devices? How often are you going to be spending porting to new devices versus working on the core code?
That's a good question. Right now, I'm porting to new devices simply because I want to get as many SoCs supported as possible so that other developers can then take over the workload of porting. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. You're because at some point, other developers stepping in is going to take on that workload. So
I essentially want to end up in a situation where we have one sample device for every type of SoC stored on the GitHub repositories, where people can use them and fork them to make their own templates and then adjust them to fit their device. So what people should essentially end up doing is they will become porters. They will say, hey, I've got a device I want this to run on. This is the most similar device that's already supported. I'm going to fork this repository. I'm going to adjust the code. Now it runs on my device.
Yeah,
and if they're willing to support it, we can make their repository official by joining it into the actual organization.
Yeah, you could become a forker. Yeah.
And why does that just not sound right?
It's what he said. It's what he
I
said.
think it's just
You
coming
fork it.
from Stubbs.
Yeah.
I think it's just
You
coming
is it
from
because
Stubbs.
I'm
It's because it's
doing
coming
it
from
again.
Stubbs. No, but that would be awesome to just be able to go to one place and say I have RGB30 or R35XX and just find the one you need there, download it, and that's it, right?
Mhm.
Exactly, yes. It's
Yeah.
always a combination of three things. You've got the init boot script, which is shared across all devices. You've got the rootfs, which is the core operating system, and then you combine it with a device-specific bootloader. This is the only thing that people will have to build, the device-specific bootloader. Everything else is taken care of for them.
Wow.
As far as the installation, I know on Android you have to put an APK onto your device and install that APK so it'll actually launch the SD card. What about on a Linux device that doesn't have that Android side? Would it just happen from the SD card itself?
Yes.
Okay.
That's actually the case for the 35XX Plus that's upcoming.
Okay. And every Android handheld, at least or is it just going to be a permanent thing where you're going to have that APK up first and then you're going to be able to use Garlic?
Well, the problem with Android devices is most of them are locked down in a way that they will not boot from micro SD cards. And GarlicOS lives on a micro SD card. So we need to convince the device in some kind of way to boot from the micro SD card. And taking the Unisoc devices as an example, okay? Their bootloaders are locked down tight, okay? So it's not like I can just swap out the first stage bootloader, the stuff that gets executed the instant you press the power button, right? Because that stuff is signed with a key I can't swap.
You're not going to be forking it on day one. You're going to be forking it after a little bit of effort.
Well, the bootloader can be forked early because the actual 90% of the work is going to happen in the rootfs, which people can just upgrade incrementally. But going back to that example with Android, to answer the question. Depending on how locked down a device is, we need to find the weakest link in the chain in the boot process, where we can add a little bit of code to reroute the boot flow onto a micro SD card. For the RG405 devices, as an example, we are doing this by hijacking the Android recovery, okay? Because that thing has a dedicated boot combination that you can press during cold boot that will end us in the recovery. From there, we hijack things and we reroute the boot process onto the micro SD card, where that shared init script lives, which then boots the rest of GarlicOS. To make sure that we don't break the original recovery, because we kind of need to keep that one functional, otherwise you will never be able to factory reset your Android device if you ever want to sell it on.
You've a bricked situation.
Yes. We need to always make sure we don't break the original recovery doing this. So there is some fallback code. If no GarlicOS micro SD card is found, it will still act like a regular unpatched recovery.
Well, can't you just pop out the SD card, though, after all this, and just go back to your original OS?
Of course you can.
Well, I mean, so you're not bricking it. Well, you're talking about if you're messing with the bootloader inside the device's onboard storage.
Well, as I said, we need to find a way we can hijack the cold boot process.
Okay.
When you press the power button, we need to somehow end up on the micro SD card.
Okay,
and
got it.
By having the boot combination on the RG405, where you do power button plus home/back, this is actually the official bootloader combination to kick us into the recovery, where we hijack the recovery to then boot the micro SD card.
Everybody,
essentially adding micro SD boot support.
Everybody, go in our description. There's the GitHub link in there. Take a look at it. You know, if this is speaking your language right now, this makes sense to you. Come help out. Come join us on this journey. Because look at this, dude. We got already a guy, Frank, in the chat here saying he's going to try with the 280M. That's his passionate device. It's a device not a lot of people use anymore. But if it had a new lease on life, we could turn old e-waste, like Matt's saying here, into loved devices. You wouldn't have landfills full of crap. You could use these devices. It would have a new life. That's nice. Isn't that what it's about at the end of the day, everybody?
Yeah. Talking about
just to clarify. That's our thing. Just to clarify to everybody in the chat, because I've seen a couple people make similar questions. this means the possibility of Garlic on pretty much any handheld, because they're asking about like, oh, what about this? What about this? It's pretty much any handheld. Once more work gets done, it's really going to be up to whoever wants to take it on to go ahead and port it. And we're going to be doing a live demonstration of how to port it next month, right?
Yes. It will be right
Yes.
after our 10-year anniversary. My wife and I have been married for 10 years now. So
Congrats.
we will be out for a week, and after that, we can get all of that on the road.
What are you guys doing?
Oh, we're just doing a little round trip.
Like you're going in circles around your block or somewhere else?
No.
Or- Okay.
No, my wife booked something, a little
nice.
trip across Europe, and
Oh, fun.
yeah, it's just something to get us out of the house for a little bit.
That's always, yeah, that's necessary. Well, everyone's going to want to know what handhelds are you going to bring on your trip. So you'll have to let us
That's
know.
a very good question. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure I'll bring any because, as I said, it's the 10-year anniversary, and it's kind of about me focusing on my wife.
That's nice. That's, man. I don't know what to do. That's too cute. You should focus on your wife.
Horrible.
Don't install garlic on her. Don't port it to her. No forking. Well, if you want. Anyways, let's move this right along. So we're at 2.5 hours, everybody, and we're about to wrap up here. But it's been so nice talking to Black-Seraph. We want to talk more about Duo, but let's bring it on the next episode. But Duo is still available. It's still being ported right now, or still being developed. I mean,
It's okay, Stubbs.
okay,
It's okay.
it'll be
It's
all
fine
right.
to have brain freeze.
It'll be all right. Yeah, it'll be all right.
We'll be.
Just look
we'll
at
be good.
Van's background. It'll get rid of that brain freeze.
Thank you. It might.
I like
Am
the
I
contrast there. You're like a nice, like cool, like blue purplish background, and Van's just like sitting in hell
red.
right now.
Just
Yeah.
in a fiery
Just red.
inferno.
Yeah, it's like the Elmo meme. Just like
Yeah, take me, Lucifer.
Last question, though. Okay, it's the very last question. We ask all of our guests this, not about
Oh,
Lucifer.
wait. We have a request to rename that segment from James.
Oh, what do we name it?
He wants to know if there's any chance we could call it Buy, Borrow, Bury.
Buy, borrow,
Bury.
bury.
What
Bury
ab-
it, yeah.
You could burn it too.
Or burn it.
I mean,
BBB.
Buy, borrow, burn.
Sure. I mean, we're like, what, 20 episodes into the season? Can we start this on next
We
season?
Yeah, we can just tell him too late. It was just a request, and he just wanted to make sure I asked. So
I like it. I mean, it's the same sort of general
it's the
idea,
same
but
process, yeah.
in the way we've been doing it till now, it is adore, keep, delete, meaning what
Right.
one handheld would you want to adore for one night only till the battery runs dry? What one handheld do you want to keep for a lifetime? You want to marry it, maybe 10 years or more. And what one handheld would you delete from existence? It never was. It sucks. And we want to know your answers.
Okay. That would probably be the ROG Ally, my one-night stand. Just because I'm curious. Steam
Hell
Deck,
yeah.
definitely. The new OLED revision is great. And the one that I would delete, probably the PlayStation Portal.
Sorry, Sony. Did you do your best on this one? Be honest. Did you? That's awesome, man. Well, those are great answers, and I really can't throw shade on any of those. It's pretty fair. We gave Sujano a hard time for, I think, the Win 600 answer, but
Yep.
you can't. Those are all very fair. It's not a handheld. It's true game tech talk. It's not. Well, everybody,
Okay.
we're
Do I have to
at
throw another one in the ring if it's not a real handheld?
Oh,
okay. Sure. What other one would you say? Screw that handheld. Dumb.
The original powkiddy X18.
Oh
That one was
yeah.
pretty bad.
the
I never
original.
even thought that it was so bad because you had even said early on that it was tough to port to. It was tough to get lineage working, and I don't even think a final build happened. Right? No, it was Turtle that was working on it originally.
Turtle was working on the original X18. I was working
that's right.
on the X18S Gray. I have a X18S Black sitting in the other room that I still have to work on. The problem with the powkiddy offerings is they do silent updates to the PCB, and they don't tell you.
They don't tell you. X18S has like 4 versions.
Yeah.
Yes, it does, and the X18 is worse. And the problem is, as a developer, you can't really support it easily because you just can't get your hands on all the revisions because they aren't marked. So you can't be like, hey, I've got a BCP1, BCP2, BCP3. They are all labeled the same. You don't know when a new revision comes out. The only times you realize it is when a user comes to you and says your stuff doesn't work.
Gotta keep your enemies guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, not even powkiddy knows about those revisions. They just happen.
Yeah, powkiddy is definitely a crux to me. I want to love them, but it might be better with the newer ones.
That's the sentiment of that we always come to. Like at the end of the podcast, when we talk about powkiddy, we always say we want them to do good. Like we want to get one, but they just don't do it.
Just vibing, sorry.
Silence after the powkiddy talk.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
no
wait,
comment.
you guys are just gonna leave me. Yeah.
It hurts a little bit to think about them.
Well, in an effort to not make bands' life harder for timestamps, because we're running a bit later on this one, but we've had a lot of fun. We want to go ahead and end the stream, but thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Support Black-Seraph. Donate to the Ko-fi. Join the Patreon. This man is hard at work, and now there's other developers being brought into the fray. But we love having this dude on, and we can't wait to have him on again. For the next season, we're going to have to talk about that and check in about 6 months or so and see where we're at. I can't wait for that one. If you are enjoying what we're doing here, thanks to our subs and patrons, you guys make the world go round for us. If you'd like to join, we have offerings on Patreon, on Discord, and we're about to launch the YouTube version. Just give me just a few more days on that one. But with that, this has been Stubbs on behalf of Black-Seraph, Ban, and Aish. Take care of your handhelds, everybody. And take care of each other, too.